resignation to the end, ever the end. When we found we could not make amends, thou declared we would e'er be friends. I don't know if I get copyrighted for this, but I'm gonna mute it. Right, I don't know about muting it actually, I'll just quiet it. Oh my god, Jesus. What a stupid fucking thumbnail.
I am of thee mercy.
Hold the peace, for violence are led but bow.
But let me live.
Mangakur!
No more shall I live that way. Uncertain what thy words
Damn. Did you block that? Nutty. Okay, nice. What's up, Swoopy? I think my internet is dog shit, so just let me know. No shit. Damn. Also, I don't know if I'll get copyrighted for the music that I'm playing, but we'll see, we'll see. Are there no swords? Okay. Jesus, okay. Sorry. Can I change the bitrate as I'm streaming? We'll see about doing 3,000. Okay. I also lowered the damage threshold that I can take, and then reduced. Okay. I guess it doesn't matter. Fuck. I wasn't supposed to take as much damage. Because if you beat it, you get like access to this really cool game mode, apparently, so I just wanted to cheat for it. It's too hard otherwise. Whoa, buddy. No, I did not get a new GPU, but I saw that one that I sent, and it looked beautiful. I think I'm fine. I think I'm fine with my current one. I was just surprised at how much that one was costing, so I don't have the money to like spend right now, but I was like, maybe if it's a really good deal, I can justify it. But I looked and it was like average price, so. It's called Half Sword. It's really fucking stupid, but I mostly just wanted to. I figured out how to get access to this one game mode earlier today, so then I wanted to hop on and change the difficulty to where they die super easily, so I can access it better or quicker. It's just a ragdoll like medieval fighting game, and I wanted to test and see if the internet was like decent enough to maybe run like a stream or something. I don't know. Whoa. You almost got me there, buddy. Big mistake. Okay, never mind. Whatever. Also, let me know if the audio is okay. I'm still messing with that too, because I'm not sure how much picks up the, would pick up the AC or not. Yeah. Wait, can I? Oh, never mind. It does kind of look like Rust. I've only seen gameplay of it though, so I've never actually played it myself. I want to punch this guy. Bitch. Bitch. Shit. Freak. Freak. Sweet, epic. I had it originally at 5,000. Is it kilobytes per second for the bitrate? Oh, nice. For the bitrate, but I think if I put it too high, it would lag the stream. Damn. It would lag the stream, and I wanted to ideally stream the webcam at like 60 frames, but it's not super necessary. Or I guess stream in general at 60 frames, but K-bits. Kibits. Thanks for the correction. Yeah, I was actually streaming at 3,000 kibits. G-bits and M-bits. I'm gonna start telling people. It's like the GIF versus GIF pronunciation. Ghibli versus Ghibli. I'll probably test some like videos or something to overplay as I'm streaming. See if the internet can handle it. Whoa. Which debate are you talking about? I know I have like a bunch of unlisted shit. Or are you talking about the video? Not the stream.
There's definitely
Shut up, shut up. Slur. If you're talking about the video, I'm just not like super content with the quality of it. I don't edit or anything. And I don't have like a formula. In mind for content at the moment. And it was a little while ago, so it's just kind of like a test run feel. I don't want to like publicly, not that I'm like hiding it or anything. You can obviously see it in the playlist. I just, oh, okay, never mind. What a wild description. Hold on. Yeah, I'm just not like super content with the quality of it, so I'm fine with if people see it on the general playlist, but as something that you see when you first get onto the page, I don't want it really to represent that at all. Whoa, bitch. Oh. Yeah, I still got it. Whoa. Whoa. Damn, that's rough. I don't know if I've ever done that. It's kind of sick. Okay. Eat shit. Loser. Freak, 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 freak. Also, the video quality is just really bad in that. Okay, chill. Yeah, the video quality is bad, the webcam setup is pretty bad. I just wasn't overall happy with it. Sorry, I just saw the message again and I was thinking more about it. Did you get my... What a bitch. Actually kill yourself, dog. I wonder if I can punch him. Never mind. Okie dokie, have a good night. Enjoy your marquee. What do they call him? I feel like they had like a cute like nickname for him or something, like Marquee Poo or some shit. Marquee Moo? That sounds like a real thing. Wow. Bitch. Okay. Give me that. Based. Militia. I don't know what that does, but... Wait, do I have to redo it because I died? Your Marky Poo? Just start calling any partner that you have that, just like in the future. Regardless of their name or their association or if they know who that is, just Marky Poo. Bitch.
From this path. It is too late.
Whoa, they have spears, dog. Chill. How did... Okay. I just realized this is called Hildegard von Blingen. It's the artist. Yo, what the fuck? That's not fair, that's not fair, that's not fair. Fuck. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Bro's getting me in a fucking chokehold and shit. Get me out of here. Bitch. 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 I'm running out of energy. Not good, not good, not good. Bitch. Thank God I'm cheating. Or else I would have died right there. I gotta lock in. That overlay looks like shit when it's over the menu. Why is it? Oh, never mind. I see. I'll try a shield. I don't normally, but I'll try. I feel like I'm gonna fuck this up hard. Oh, never mind. It's so much like less stable. God damn, dude. So much less stable when you just have the one-handed. Okay. I'll do that one later. It's like a 3v3, but I'm really bad at it. Okay, dude. Not cool. Not cool, not cool, not cool. It does not have to be that exaggerated. So fake. The lion. It's such a cheat against the dudes with spears. What about if I stab? That doesn't really work. Damn, he's got an actual sword. Doesn't matter. Because I win. Retard. Another one? Doesn't matter. Alright, who's this guy? Oh, Jesus Christ. How do they create you guys? Okay, dude, chill, chill, chill. It's not that deep. Oh. Base, base, base. Veteran. Should I feel like I'm fucking myself if I use one of the hammer things. Or should I use an axe? That's kind of sick, but it's two-handed. I feel like this one's alright. Oh shit, sorry. Okay, we'll try it. Yo, why? I didn't mean to pull that out. Stop. Why do you do that? Don't tell me I die on the first dude, please. Never mind. Bitch. Yeah, I meant to do that. Why is their first reaction to fucking hold their shit like that? Seems like a really bad strategy. Damn. GG. Woo. I feel like this dude is way too armored up. Is this really fair? Damn, I bruised him with the hilt of my sword. Okay. GG. Dude has a spear, are you kidding me? Oh. Okay. Yo, what the fuck? Never mind. I faked my fear. Just to trick him. Okay, before this one, I'm gonna close out the music and see if I can play a video or something. So if I do this, can I do this? And then do this? No. This. I don't know if that's too big or not. Maybe like this. A little some. I don't know. We'll see.
When you're going out to kill somebody, if you're seen by a single other person on the trail, then that day's screwed.
In Cherokee County, Georgia, a sheriff's deputy stops to question a man parked on private hunting lands. But worse, the man is guilty of trespassing, or so the deputy thinks as he approaches.
Good, and tell, sir. What you doing out here? Well, you're the fourth person to come along. Am I? And ask me that. I guess they called you, didn't they? Yes, they did.
I just wanted to place a chance because I'm on my way to cut. I'm leaving. As a matter of fact, I'm getting my maps together. I got to buy some maps.
That's why I just came out to tell you that it's a lease hunting property. They're very strict about it.
I see that.
But behind this man's friendly demeanor is a calculating predator hiding bloody secrets and a lengthening trail of bodies.
Life has been sweet. We got to document it.
Look, I'm taking a picture. What?
Wait, are you saying that ironically?
Immortality, right? If
Or are
there's
you being
deer hunters
serious?
around there, I can be wearing a purple shirt, that red backpack, and they're gonna tell me I'm gonna get shot. But that's a common threat.
When you say, I won't kill anyone today, we'll just go hiking with my dog. Have fun. We're jammed anyway.
I'm leaving. I'm getting out of here. God Almighty.
Can I get your ID real quick?
Yeah, you sure can. And it's in a. You see that fanny pack right there?
Are there any weapons in that fanny pack?
Absolutely not. And I'm gonna bring it to you.
Oh no.
The deputy follows the man back to his van, never suspecting for a moment that he is in the presence of a cold-blooded monster who was killed before and whose thirst for violence has not been quenched.
And when you get down to the bitter end, you ignore all the rules you set.
Dude, ain't no
Which I
way.
did.
Oh, I do have an Hispanic conlang right there. Don't get nervous.
The following report is based on official police records, and most of the footage has never been seen before until now. The first sign of trouble in Leon County, Florida comes when 46-year-old nurse Cheryl
Bitch.
Dunlap doesn't show up for her Sunday
Yeah,
school
bitch,
class.
look at that.
But it's not until she
Damn.
misses work at Florida State University the next day, December
still
3rd,
alive?
2007, that her friend reports
No,
her
never
missing.
mind.
Her adult son goes by
knew.
her house,
I
hoping
knew
to
it.
find an innocent explanation.
The dog was still in there. What was your first thoughts? This ain't good. She's been missing for 2 days and that dog is still in there. That dog is
This ain't
everywhere.
good.
And if she's not taking it, she makes arrangements for it to be taken care of. Now, that dog was my brother, if you will.
Police soon realized that no one in Cheryl's life has heard from her since the morning of December 1st, 2 days earlier, when she told a friend she was going to the library. She was logged into the Wakulla County Public Library's computer system at 9:45 that morning, and she cashed a check for $100 at 11:15 a.m. After that, police know nothing. They ask her friends if she might have suddenly decided to leave it all behind.
She wanted to travel. Literally, her actual words was, she said, Laura, she said, I
She
really
wittily
want
wanted
some
to
adventure in my
travel.
life.
Like
But she also
wittily.
said that she wanted them through missions. The first thing that comes to mind when I think about Cheryl is godly. You hear about people that are Christians, but she was the type person that she really, really, really tried to live this Christian life.
I think I'll do an axe.
I mean, the way the Bible said.
The idea that Cheryl walked away from her job, her friends, and her 2 sons doesn't seem likely. And the likelihood dims that afternoon when Cheryl's car is found
I
parked
can
off the
fucking
road near
find
Leon
one.
Sinks Geological Park. It's been abandoned. There's
Yeah.
no sign of Cheryl or anyone else.
Then we got the call, said they found the car while we were there at the house. So we went there. I just sat there watching the process for a little while. And I had heard over the radio that there was foul odor coming from the trunk. So I wanted to go to see myself if I could, if it was or wasn't. I stood around there and I got some.
But there are troubling signs. Her purse and keys remain in the vehicle, her belongings are scattered across the seat, and one of the rear tires is flat. When police take a closer look, alarm bells begin to sound. The tire appears to have been deliberately punctured. Signs of foul play are mounting, and it has Cheryl's friends in turmoil.
I've lost a brother suddenly. I've lost a sister. I've lost my mom and dad. And nothing has shaken me like this. Absolutely nothing.
Her son, meanwhile, reflects on a memory he fears may haunt him forever.
I started trying to call her and ask her
Sorry.
opinions about what I should do with my life. She didn't have her phone on that day. When I was outside building a film, she called back. And I told her I couldn't talk her anything.
How long ago was this?
A couple of weeks ago.
That was the last time you talked to her?
I didn't even talk to her.
But that's the last time you heard from her?
Cheryl Dunlap's picture is splashed across the local media. A couple reports seeing her at Leon Sinks on the afternoon of December 1st, sitting on a bench reading a book. From that point forward, her whereabouts are unknown. That is, until police learn from Cheryl's bank that her ATM card has been used 5 times between December 2nd and December 4th to make withdrawals
That's a lot of
totaling
money.
more than $700.
So if someone used the card, they would have to know it or either get it from her. It wouldn't be where they could just look at it and see it.
No. Probably the only way that she gave up that PIN number was either they threatened her life or her grandbaby's lives.
Investigators head to the bank's main branch to see if there's video, while also looking to the public for help.
Do you remember seeing a gentleman that might have aroused your suspicion at all?
No, there's a lot of people come in here
I
to
saw a gentleman that might have aroused me.
Police
but
have a long investigation in front of them, but what
That's all
they
I
see
got,
at
officer.
Cheryl's bank makes it clear that there's no time to waste. In video of her recent ATM transactions, detectives see what they feared most. It's not Cheryl Dunlap using the ATM, but a shadowy figure wearing a disturbing homemade mask.
It's kind of
Investigators
racist, but
note that
okay.
the man is tall and thin, but that's not a lot to go on, even for those who know Cheryl best.
Any suspicions as far as people?
I can't imagine anybody. Because I mean, my mom's that type that everybody loves her. She doesn't have any enemies. She's not a Lulu that she just go disappearing. Even the description of Cal ATM machine, I can't think of Anybody out of description, skinny, tall, lanky. Can't think of anybody.
The identity of the man behind the mask remains a mystery. But a month later, more than 300 miles to the north, another woman would suddenly vanish.
Another woman.
And this time, the monster wouldn't stay in the shadows. On January 1st, 2008, a 24-year-old Georgia woman named Meredith Emerson leaves a note for her roommate before heading off on a hike with her black lab, Ella. When she still hasn't returned by the next morning, her roommate files a report with the Union County Sheriff's Office. Meredith's boyfriend goes looking for her car, which he finds in one of the parking lots at Blood Mountain, one of Meredith's favorite hiking spots. He leaves a note on her car, and with the eventual help of friends and police, begins searching the trails and the surrounding wilderness. Soon, news of her disappearance is statewide, as an investigator with the Dawson County Public Defender's Office
kill yourself.
It hit the papers here because where she went missing is not far from here. So the county was put on full alert. I mean, we were aware of the case probably as soon as she was declared missing.
But despite the intense search effort, there's no sign of Meredith.
Dude, where's my
Investigators
armor?
talked to several people who saw Meredith on the mountain on New Year's Day, and it turns out they noticed something else as well. An older man lurking nearby. One witness says he even came across a suspicious scene a few minutes after seeing the two. A disturbed portion of the hiking trail, as if there had been a struggle. Left behind on the ground were several items, including water bottles, a dog leash, and most ominously of all, an expandable police baton. Witnesses described the man they saw with Meredith, a 60-year-old white male, around 5 foot 10 inches, 160 pounds, and they mention another fact as well. He had a large reddish dog with him. Police share these details with the local media, and the tips start rolling in. Could this man be responsible?
The tits start rolling in. Let's fucking
Could he
go,
even be the
boys.
same sinister figure seen taking money out of Cheryl Dunlap's bank account a month earlier. The cases are eerily similar. Two women, alone by themselves on national forest land.
Fucking bitch.
Now, both of them
Retarded
missing.
bitch.
In Leon County, Florida, the tips in Cheryl's case are beginning to take on a familiar shape.
Ran into this man and his white van, and his dog started barking at us. A big dog, kind of reddish, brownish hair, long hair, I guess.
Again and again, witnesses come forward to describe a very specific man they saw in the area. And most of them agree that it was late November 2007, only days before Cheryl Dunlap went missing.
And we saw an old man, skinny. I remember he was skinny.
That
looked
accent
homeless,
pisses me the fuck
walking
off.
towards us.
A gentleman was standing in front of it and said hello.
I saw that kind of man over there, and he looked a little suspicious.
Stuff strewn around the campsite, and the most prominent thing was a beautiful dark red Irish setter.
This gentleman with his dog approached me coming out of the woods, and it made me nervous. He had this big long knife strapped to his side.
Why there's
Dog
so
was,
many?
looked like a golden retriever, but it was like a dark rust color.
Probably 5'9", 5'10". He's an older man.
Scruffy in the face,
Bitch.
missing a couple teeth in the front.
He gave me the creeps when I saw him.
He weirded us
That's
out
rude.
so much that I mean I was just joking, completely
Maybe he
joking around
liked
when I
you.
said this, but when we left, I was like, man, that guy's killed like 10 people.
An older man,
What?
a white
Did you just
van,
guess that?
a red dog. The details coming in are consistent, first in Florida and then a month later in the Georgia mountains. But it's not until a businessman named John Tabor hears the news that police are finally able to put a name to this phantom. Tabor calls the Georgia Bureau of Investigation's tip line and says the man they're looking for used to work for him selling house siding, right up until the day he demanded money and threatened to kill him. The man drives a white Chevrolet Astro van, and he has a red golden retriever he calls Dandy. His name, Tabor tells them, is Gary Michael Hilton. And that's when things start to move very quickly. Armed with this new information, the GBI finds Hilton's driver's license records in the system, and they send out an updated Be on the Lookout report to law enforcement and the general public that includes his name and photograph. Hilton is labeled a person of interest in Meredith Emerson's disappearance, and investigators hope to find him before it's too late. Unfortunately, in the Florida case of Cheryl
This is so
Dunlap,
fucking
hope
stupid,
has
dude.
already run out.
I drove up in there to where I like to walk the dogs in, and I seen some buzzards fly up just right beside the road.
On December 15th, 2007, 14 days
accidentally
after
just
Cheryl
fucking
Dunlap was
killed
last
him.
seen, a hunter comes upon a tragic discovery in the forest.
I told my son to stay in the truck to, let me see what the buzzards was doing. And I walked out there, and it appeared to be a human body. At first, all I could see was just maybe the torso. I didn't see a head. All I could see was from maybe neck to waist.
Okay.
Let go, bitch.
I thought it was a deer to start with. And when I looked at it and I seen the leg and the foot sticking out, I knew what it was then.
The body is nude and is already significantly decomposed.
That's
It is
kinda
found
hot.
deep in the forest off the main roads.
It appeared to have been somebody tried to cover it up.
Police find the body covered in tree limbs and palmetto fronds from the surrounding woods, but that's not enough to hide the
That
damage that
scared
has
me.
been
That
done to
legit
this
scared the
woman.
fuck out of me.
Her hands have been removed. Her nipples have been cut off.
Damn,
She's
that's
been
rough.
decapitated and left out here to rot.
Oh,
Because
that
of the
sounds
advanced
really bad.
decomposition in the missing head, the medical examiner could only label the cause of death as undetermined homicidal violence. 4 days later, the Leon County Sheriff's Office holds a press conference to announce the grim news the community had feared. The body in the woods belongs to Cheryl Dunlap. Authorities in Georgia are desperate to catch up to Gary Hilton before the same fate befalls Meredith Emerson. On January 4th, 3 days since her disappearance, there's a development. A black lab is spotted walking into a Kroger supermarket in Cumming, Georgia. It's chipped, and before the day is through, they've identified it as Ella, Meredith's dog. When Meredith's father speaks to the press, he says, "We're happy that Ella has been found, but Meredith is still out there." Later that day, a woman reports that Gary Hilton called her wanting
Kill
money.
yourself.
The return number comes from a payphone, and police quickly track it to a Quick Trip in Cumming, just across the street from where Ella was found. They process the payphone for evidence, but it's what they find in the nearby dumpster that gives them a shock. A woman's purse, bloody clothing, and a wallet with identification cards inside. The driver's license and student ID cards belong to Meredith Emerson. If the hunt for Gary Hilton could ever become more intense, it just did. And that night, police get the 911 calls they've been hoping for.
Hi, I'm calling from Cadenbridge Square.
They're so
Shopping Center,
desperate.
And I'm calling about that person,
And
Gary
gay.
Hilton, in connection with the woman that's missing.
A man
no
matching
match
Gary
for
Hilton's
me.
description has been spotted at a Chevron station in Chamblee, Georgia, approximately 30 miles south of Cumming.
But I'm walking my dog, and at the gas station up here, there's a white van and a red dog wandering around, like his red dog.
It's definitely him. The van is there. The dog is there. I saw his face.
He's got a whole bunch of stuff he's pulling out, like he's living out of his van, pulling out and organizing his stuff in his van.
He's throwing stuff in the dumpster here. He's making multiple trips back to his van. It's out and taking
Are there more people?
114, it's Sergeant Crow. We're around to that location. Set a PIB. It's definitely him. He's looking around like he is as guilty as sin.
He's got to be gone if somebody doesn't get here.
I can go take him down if you want.
No, sir. Stay right there.
Okay. He looks like he's finishing up. You guys got to hurry. Oh, I'm just shaking. Here we go. Here comes the cops. Yes. Yes.
Are there more dudes? Come on.
They got him.
Hilton goes flat on the ground immediately and is taken into custody. The police also secure his van and his now famous red dog, Dandy. But while the arrest goes off without a hitch, every officer on scene can see for themselves the unsettling truth. Meredith Emerson is nowhere to be found. Hilton is taken to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, where he lies prone on the floor, unwilling to cooperate and complaining of pain from multiple
Eat shit,
sclerosis.
loser.
Mr. Hilton, my name's Clay Bridges. I'm a special agent with the GBI.
Better than
Over the
you.
past couple of days, I've come to know you pretty good. I've spoken with numerous
Dude, that
people
dude is
who
insane.
say that
What
you're
the
extremely
fuck?
healthy, extremely smart, very intelligent, almost genius level. I would prefer to talk to you if you were kind of sitting up and I could look at you a little bit. And I understand that you're a distance runner and that
That's
you're,
actual
very
footage. That's not
healthy
even a
individual.
photograph.
With Hilton unwilling to answer questions, the agent says something that is perhaps intended to get a reaction.
Well, I tell you, it's a whole lot warmer down here than it was up on Blood Mountain.
But Hilton doesn't take the bait, and neither the GBI nor the doctors can get him to talk.
We're going to take really good care of you, okay? Basically.
Like you already have.
Yes, sir. Do you feel like you've been mistreated?
Yes, I have.
When was the last time you had a good meal?
I'm through talking to you. I'm making those statements. I don't want to be interrogated anymore.
Well, if you don't want to talk to me, then I'm going to make the decision that right now you're not an immediate life threat and that you could possibly stay here with these gentlemen, continue doing with them what they need to do with you, okay?
Put me back in the handcuff.
There are many signs that Hilton has been in an altercation, including a cut on his nose and a badly swollen right hand.
His life
GBI
looks like
agent
an
Clay Bridges
altercation.
leaves
I
Hilton
would
with a
not
final thought.
be
Remember
surprised
what I
if
told
they
you about
found
that, about Meredith?
traces of
You need to
that.
go ahead and just tell us where she's at, okay? Ain't so much more in your face. Aside from it being the right thing to do.
Hilton isn't moved by this appeal to his conscience, which is perhaps not surprising if he's the
Damn,
man
yeah.
guilty of killing
Fucked
Cheryl
up.
Dunlap in Florida. And the evidence is growing. The tips keep coming in Leon County, and police search campsites near where Hilton was reportedly seen. At one, they make a horrifying
Shit.
discovery. A burn pit, amongst which they find charred finger bones and skull fragments. The limited remains make DNA identification impossible, but police are almost certain that the remains belong to Cheryl, and it won't be long before evidence in the Meredith Emerson case draws an undeniable line between the two women. With Hilton unwilling to talk, police in Georgia focus on his van. Since Hilton has been living in the Chevy Astro for a long time, there's no shortage of things to look through. And along the way, they come up with a fascinating discovery. A Sony digital camera and several memory sticks containing some very interesting videos.
He's a blogger.
picture, what, Andy? Come for immortality, right? Good. The catch right there. That's through it, let's say. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
These home videos give investigators an unprecedented look into the life of a violent drifter.
Yeah, he's just a real red, and he has that Irish confirmation also. Okay, come on, honey. Let's get him.
Aw.
Good boy. Now you gotta stay out here. Okay, now we're going to get ready after he's greeted, and we'll be all happy. You got to stay right here while you do.
The police will soon discover much darker recordings on the memory sticks. For now, they charge Gary Hilton with kidnapping in the Meredith Emerson case. It remains to be seen if additional charges will follow. As police transport Hilton to the Union County Jail in Georgia, his attitude has improved, but his willingness to answer questions about Meredith's whereabouts has not.
You guys are pissed at me, so hey, I ain't... You get the cops pissed off, man.
My twin.
All right, now you ain't gonna do nothing squirrely on this,
Oh,
right?
yeah, like I can with you. Sure. He's sitting there with one gun in the holster and the other in his seat. I mean, Jesus Christ. He's gonna turn around and cap me. I am, okay? Totally.
You're dead, buddy.
I was trying to figure out who I was going to give my dog to before I turned myself in. I saw the paper. I caught the paper.
I'll take your dog, bitch.
I saw the paper. I saw that. I saw I was on the front page of the paper. You know.
It didn't seem like you were going to turn yourself in.
Well, hey, you know something? I'm making statements and I ain't making no statements.
But Hilton's position on answering questions
true,
will soon
Bestie.
shift, and agents with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation will finally get a deep look into one of the most sinister minds they've ever come in contact with. In hours of interviews, they'll begin to piece together what happened to Meredith that day on Blood Mountain. And what they hear from Gary Hilton changes everything.
Since I was 4 years old, my earliest thoughts were of that. I said, you know something, no one's even missed you. And she said, well, I'd be mad if once you let me go. And I came back and my boyfriend said, have you been gone? I spent 3 days with her. We had long talks about everything.
I swear if I killed myself right there, I would have been so fucking mad.
The Lone Ranger. And the Lone Ranger would come galloping into town. They would always say,
Who was that man?
Yeah, who was that masked man? Okay, that's what I do to society.
Hilton admits that some of what is driving him to talk is the kidnapping charge, which he believes will likely put him away for the rest of his life.
They had me on the kidnapping, and it was going to stick. The evidence was good. Right out of the dumpster. It was just a smoking gun. They had me.
The investigators take a low-pressure approach to the interviews, which gives Hilton all the room he needs to expand on every topic he can think of, including his history of conflicts with the other dog owners he meets while hiking.
The average dog owner doesn't know jack about dogs. The average animal control officer doesn't know jack about dogs. They anthropomorphize. That means assigning human qualities to something. Anthropomorphize. Okay? And they assign human qualities to dogs. And what that means is that they want dogs to be like humans, which is be nice and get along.
But we'll see.
That's not the way it is in the dog world. Because when
If
dogs talk to each other,
has any effect?
they quite often revert back to the wolf world. And the wolf world is more incredibly savage and brutal than you can ever imagine. Humans don't understand that in the dog world or the wolf world, there are no assault and battery laws. There are no murder laws. And quite often, there is no fear. Okay, imagine such a world where there's no murder laws.
Before Hilton can go too deeply into his fantasy of a world without laws, he explains how to handle confrontations with dogs and their owners.
My goal in a stick fight with
We
a
should have
human
no
or a dog
laws, by the
is
way.
not to make contact with the dog. A successful stick fight is preventative. To me, is shaping it with a stick and not making contact. Because it takes it to a whole other level when you make, especially with a human being. You hit a human being with a stick, regardless of the situation, it's probably going to ruin your day, buddy. And it may not go your way either, even though it always has. I've had the police call on me 30 times at least, and no exaggeration, in 17 years.
Hilton's history with the police is well documented, and not all of it concerns other dogs. He has a history of theft, telephone fraud, arson, and was even accused at one point of attempting to murder his own stepfather. His conflicts with the law haven't settled in recent years, as demonstrated by police dash cams and his own home videos.
What do you have on your hands there?
Don't ask me, man. He's about to take off. Sir, okay, look. I've been nothing but respectful for you, but if you're going to continue to create a problem, we can take it to the next level.
Putting out leaflet soliciting? Yes.
Just get out
You're
of
the
this.
law, man. You are the law. I'm going to check it out, and if it ain't the law, and you're wrong.
Dude, is this
I'm
on
not
his
talking to
camera?
nobody. I'm filing and I'm suing because you're interrupting my work.
Go right ahead.
But it's one particular encounter with the
Insane.
cops that catches the public's attention after his arrest.
You bumped into a Cherokee County deputy up on some private hunting property back in, I think it was October or something, and that was widely publicized.
I've got maps of the area, and I was headed to Cohutta. Don't have actually from Lawrenceville, but I'm out of Chambers. Okay. And I camped out here 20 years ago. I can show you. I got a WNA map right now.
You may have 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It probably was okay.
When the footage comes out, cops working the Cheryl Dunlap case notice the cap Hilton is wearing. It bears a striking resemblance to the one in the ATM footage from Leon County.
You know, I just wanted a place to camp because I'm on my way to Cohutta. I'm leaving. As a matter of fact, I'm getting my maps together. I got to buy some maps.
Did you hear, did he get on tape my joke about deer hunters? Yeah. What's the 3 reasons that you're having a dinner? Yeah. No, I made that up. I'm a comedian too.
But I have a little joke about these southern outdoorsmen. They come out in the woods for 3 reasons. One is to get drunk, the other is to post, and the other is to change the oil in their truck. I'm sorry.
That was really funny.
I just thought it.
But though Hilton has suspicious items in his possession,
Oh, I do have an expanded timeline right there. Don't get noticed. I won't get out of the truck without it.
You're bruised, bitch. You're
Deputy
dead,
lets him go
bitch.
on his way, unaware
Bruised
that
and
he's
dead.
releasing a vicious predator back into the wild.
Is it almost like a little acting on your behalf to, I don't know, kind of steer this law enforcement officer away from you? Or
Basically Johnny Depp.
No, I was being perfectly candid with him.
Hilton says that certain police officers will immediately recognize when they're dealing with a pro.
You and I were talking earlier, and you described yourself as a pro. And I mean, in talking about that I, as a police officer, when you and I encounter one another, I'm going to know you're not.
Did I do
I know what
that?
you mean, but how do you define that as far as how are you a pro?
I'm a pro in that I'm not just styling. You see, the average civilian, their entire life is a style.
Yeah.
Nothing is real. They're talking the talk and they're not walking the walk. And they're styling. And that's why you see posers. That's my word. Perfectly precious.
That's
posers.
his word.
That's what yuppies are.
Hey, I love
God.
you.
He
Mr.
gets
Hilton,
him.
Take care. Be safe.
There's a large number of police officers that are highly experienced.
Right.
And that they are pros, and they recognize a pro when they see a pro.
Right.
And I'm
Stay
a pro.
back.
This wouldn't be the last time Hilton would manage to keep his true nature hidden from law enforcement in the closing months of 2007. On November 17th, only 2 weeks before Cheryl Dunlap went missing, a Forest Service ranger spoke to him near a campsite in Leon County.
From what he told me, he was returning to his campsite,
Dumbass
he was
bitch.
walking along the road. He had a dog and a walking stick.
The ranger runs the tag on his white Chevy Astro parked back at the campsite.
Who did the van come back to?
It came back to Gary Michael Hilton.
It will soon come to light that Hilton already had blood on his hands before speaking to these officers. Nonetheless, he's in custody now, and in a series of audio and video interviews with the GBI, he will finally reveal the full story behind what happened New Year's Day on Blood Mountain.
But anyway, it's a good place to hunt.
Blood
in that
Mountain.
You have a huge selection. But it's a bad place to hunt in that you
Because they have a lot of people.
So the way you would do it, would be to look in blind, so to speak, off with the observe binoculars and work. But I didn't do that either. because I like
Base.
to hike.
What I'd like
All
to
right,
know
let's
is
see who the boss is.
how accomplished of a hiker are you?
Oh.
I mean, you've been to.
Okay. I'm going to tell you something.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something.
Exactly.
I've never met anyone, ever, and people have built on this too, but I've never met anyone, anywhere, anyway, that has the time in the woods.
And give him his stupid fucking face. Kill yourself,
that I have.
bitch.
I've never worked full-time anyway in my life, except for the U.S. Army.
Hilton was enlisted in the Army as a young man before being
I'm gonna stab
discharged
him
for
like
demonstrating
this.
symptoms of
I'm gonna
psychosis,
run at him.
an early glimpse of the darkness to come.
Did you know Meredith Emerson
Lied.
before the other day?
I tricked him
Okay. At what time, or
so I can
when
do
did you
it
first become
this
aware
time.
of her, or when did you first see her?
On the mountain.
I lied.
At the intersection of the Herbert
Again.
Reese Connector Trail and the AG at that intersection.
How did you strike up a conversation with her or whatever?
Dogs, people that have dogs, dogs are going to meet. And anytime I encounter someone with a loose dog specifically, which both of ours were, a larger dog, I immediately determine the sex of the dog because I have a male and I
Because I don't
don't
want to
allow my
fuck a
dog to meet
dog.
adult males.
So you asked,
Sorry,
you
look
asked her
at
what
its
sex her
genitals
dog
real
was?
quick.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Immediately.
And she stopped at that location.
Not
to
my words,
eat
his words.
And eat some trail mix and to give her dog water.
After a brief exchange, the two continued hiking, and the 24-year-old athlete quickly put distance between herself and Hilton. But soon enough, Meredith would come back down the trail, and this time, Hilton would be ready.
Did you form an opinion at that point, or did you form an idea at that point that you wanted to abduct her at that point?
Yeah. This was driven really by nothing but, well, the desire to obtain her card.
That was the sole purpose. You wanted her card number?
Yeah, and rather than pick a guy who would, or a couple, with a guy who might really fight, because if you want a card VIN number and the guy fights you got to kill him, well, where you at?
Let's go.
So I felt I knew it would be easier to establish control over a female, any female, than it would a male. It's not that I couldn't whip a male, but once you whip him, you might be left holding an empty bag.
Hilton's aside about his ability to take on a man is perhaps unsurprising given his many thoughts about masculinity and the differences between the genders.
But that's what a woman wants you to do as an adult, is to play house. Okay. And to have
So he's
children.
not a
How many
feminist,
9-year-old
okay, got
boys?
it.
Now, don't get me wrong. I
Good to
understand
know.
that, for many men, having children is the greatest thing in their life.
This
But
dude's a
nevertheless,
fighter,
How
holy
many
shit.
9-year-old boys have you known that have said, oh, I don't want to be a soldier, a pilot, or astronaut. I want to grow up and have a family. You may look at any man's home. It ain't a man's home. It's a woman's home. And what is this man thing? Having a nice
This dude
woman.
is funny.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Give me a break. Out there cutting grass and digging in the dirt like an animal.
According to Gary, it all comes down to an imbalance of power.
Part of my dislike or...
We live in a matriarch. That's what Candace Owens says, so I believe her.
They have all these
My queen.
advantages. And if that's how they get men to do what they want them to do.
Oh, yeah.
Always, yeah. Either you do what I want, or in the end, I'm going to give it to someone else. For women to threaten to give it away, that,
They threaten to give it
for them
away.
to let you know that they could give it away, and they have given it away, increases the value of it. However, there's marketing, but a
This dude is
sophisticated
hurt.
woman understands that the threaten to give it away increases the value, and actually giving it away to someone else decreases the value. And some women aren't smart enough to know the difference. And they
Yeah, they're retarded.
It's not just Gary's thoughts on women that cast doubt on his narrative that he only confronted Meredith for her bank cards. It's also the fact that no money has been withdrawn from her account. But as the investigators soon learn, Meredith Emerson is not a woman to be trifled with.
The act occurred, the demand occurred.
She's a
at the
trans
point where
man.
The water bottles and baton were found in Lake Dog Street. That's where the demand occurred.
Okay, and by demand, what do you say? What did you say?
Credit cards.
Dog.
And when you did that, and when you said that, did you produce the baton, or what did you
Did you
produce?
fuck my left hand up?
The bayonet is probably still
Asshole.
over there. I lost control of she fought. And as I read in the paper, she's a martial artist. I read in the paper she practiced martial arts.
Okay.
And she fought. And she grabbed the knife.
Okay.
I lost control of the knife.
Okay.
And she grabbed the knife blade and very slightly cut her hand on the webbing between her thumb and forefinger. I was not aware of that till later on, and I said, "Where'd you get that cut at?" She said, "When I grabbed the knife."
Okay.
But she grabbed the knife and fought.
Okay.
Thank God.
And then I produced the baton.
Okay.
She fought that, and I lost control of the baton. And I'm good too with this girl. I think it was you probably. One of the GBI said that little 120-pound girl thought probably close to whip your. Well, she about did.
But Gary can't admit that he was in any real trouble. Not to the investigators, and perhaps not even to himself.
It was not my finest hour. It was not my, I mean, I'm better than that. I am, but I found out she was a black belt. See, which don't mean, again, they're styling these black belts. They're styling. They're not fighters. They're learning to do some little, but on the other hand, doing that kind of thing does increase your coordination, your hand-eye, etc., and it gets you more used to hand-to-hand combat as opposed to an untrained person, even though they're not really fighters, and she didn't do no. It's just that she's real quick with her hands and had no hesitation about grabbing weapons and everything. And not only that, she was hard to subdue.
Wait, did you type something else in
I
chat?
gained control over her and got her 10 to 15 feet away from the trail on that little side trail.
For some reason, it's not. It comes
But
up
what
on
Gary
my
characterizes as a
stream
fight sounds
overlay
more like a
thing,
merciless beating.
I had to hand bite her.
but not on
And
my
that's
actual
where I got
chat.
this hand. I probably have multiple fractures in my right hand now.
Okay.
However, I'm not in pain, and I don't think any of them are displaced. I had to hand bite her, and I still couldn't get control of her. She would feign or pretend that I was in control and then start biting again.
Right.
So I had to hit her a number of times.
Now you hit her every time with your right hand, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
These are straight in punches.
In the face, or?
Yeah, or the head.
Okay.
As to what extent she was injured, her two eyes were somewhat blackened. She may or may not have a fractured nose. I checked with her a number of times, and she was not in any pain other than afterwards. She was not in any pain other than a headache.
I don't know why it's coming up now.
And gave her asthma.
Hilton tells the investigators that once they were safely off the trail, he was able to finally subdue her.
So I got control of her again, quieted her down, got control of her again, and I kept her moving down that close trail around the corner of the mountain.
Yeah,
so to
I'm
speak.
that bitch.
And at that point, I produced it's like a duck tie. It's like a handcuff that police use.
Zip tie?
Zip tie, yeah. Except these were just commercial zip ties, 18-inch zip ties.
You remember what color they were?
Yeah, black. They're not there anymore. You'll probably find them in the dumpster out of the way, probably.
Did you have a rubber band around them?
Yeah.
Okay, we did find one up there.
Don't tell me
I
that
don't know.
restarts me.
So I zip tied her to a
Bitch,
tree, and
you
I knew that I had to go and clean the crime scene.
Hilton's use of zip ties and Meredith's abduction draws another connection to the Cheryl Dunlap case. Investigators searching several of Hilton's Leon County campsites find a number of items he left behind.
You too, bitch.
And zip ties are prominently among them. But it's something else that Hilton leaves on Blood Mountain that will make the connection undeniable.
Told her to be quiet and stay, and went back to clean the crime scene. But it
You're
already
so
been
getting
found.
whacked off, bro.
Okay, by that time it had already been found.
I saw the three. There were three hikers that had found the thing, and they were no longer there.
Okay.
And they were headed down the slope.
Were you crouching behind a rock at that point?
and looking at them, and then I laid down flat in the trail above them. Because if a trail is cut in, into a slope and someone's below, if you lay in the flat, you're depilated or inflated, so to speak.
Jeez, dude.
And I laid down in the trail at that point, and the stuff was gone.
Among the items Hilton lost on a mountain were his expanding police baton,
Okay, see you
Meredith's
later.
leash, and a dagger-like knife he calls a bayonet.
Can I
When
close out of this?
investigators with the Florida Department of Law
Oh.
Enforcement compare the blade of the bayonet to the hole in Cheryl Dunlap's tire,
Thanks for stopping
any
by. I
doubt
don't know
is
if you're
put
still
to
here or
rest.
not, but
It's an exact match.
If I'd been back to the crime scene just a few minutes sooner, just several minutes sooner, I would have beat those people that found the bat, and I would have picked it up. But as it was, I had to fight her twice, bring her all the way around the corner of the mountain, and then secure her to a tree, in spite of her protestations. And then
You say
go back for it.
protestations?
She caught me fair and square. Yeah.
Now, one thing I didn't ask you about this, since you're on that point, one thing I didn't ask you about, did you have to put something to keep her quiet, a gag, so to speak, or anything like that?
My dick.
Was she unconscious at that point?
Never.
Bitch.
Well, I'm wondering why she wasn't yelling when you just tied her to a tree. And when you went back to clean the crime scene, what I'm getting at.
There comes a point, they fight, and then they submit.
Right.
And a lot of it is because of me.
Right.
I reassure them. That it's going to be okay, but just quit fighting or you're going to get hurt. I tell them, listen, honey, I'm going to spend life in prison just because she said no.
Gary has a great many ideas about how a victim should behave under Meredith's circumstances.
But the advice to people if they're abducted is to engage your abductor and to make yourself a person to them and not have them think of you as an object. To engage them, to tell them your name, to tell them about yourself, tell them about your family, tell your abductor that, tell them what you study, what your dreams and hopes and plans and schemes are, and try to engage them and make yourself a person. Rather than an object, because the abductor is psychopathic. He's looking at you in a human way. You want to make yourself a human.
Dude, his hand is fucked up. Holy
It was always me
shit.
engaging them. First thing I ask him is, what can you?
Sorry.
What's your favorite?
Sorry, pal.
What do you do for work? What do you do?
Sorry.
What do you do?
Sorry.
And talk to him. It calms him down. But none of them ever did that to me.
Hilton tells the investigators that he would act much differently if put in that position.
She never once told me, hey, Mommy, that's not it. I mean, that's what I'd be doing.
Fuck you,
I'd be
bitch.
pitching a guy
Fuck
like
you.
that. They don't even pitch me. Like,
I'm gonna get your
I
ass.
won't say a word, just...
You ruined
I'd
my
be
life.
saying, hey, listen, hey, no sweat, listen, I'll tell them you had me blindfolded all the time. I didn't even see nothing. I don't know a thing. I have no good... Hey, I'm not even going to report this. Hey, just cut me loose, cut me loose as soon as you can. If I can get back for big alarms raised, I'll never even report. I'd be pitching the whole damn time.
Meredith, who wasn't fortunate enough to have Hilton's instructions on how to be a victim, is subdued by other means.
What did you do at that point? Went back to her and cut her loose. And she was not tied at all, except I put a loop around her neck.
Oh, what kind of loop?
Just a nylon cord, 300-pound test. Just wasn't even tied. It was like a loop.
I put a loop line around her neck, and just like a leash, like a dog's leash, and that's the only way she was secured.
I know Pisco was streaming earlier. I'm gonna see if he mentioned anything about the coverage that Destiny had about the detainment.
Like, all those guys are super duper emotional, and
PBD is actually by far.
But I find myself, comfort wise, going back.
But yeah,
big.
Yeah.
Do you know this kid Jola talks politics? You know this kid Jola?
I do. I've not actually talked to him.
Why haven't we invited him to live and
He's
learn? Bizarre standing decisions in the case of the student loan case, the Mohila case, right, where the standing argument there is super bizarre, super weird, but they just give the standing whenever they want. And so, like, this doctrine that is meant to...
Even that, like, making Republican Party didn't give a fuck what
the founding fathers did not want a million reason, but I do...
You get a MAGA Republican
against DGG, I've spoken positively about DGG. I organized the whole event for DGG. Okay? So, people forget, people have short memories, but, politically, in terms of where my alignments are, I haven't changed at all. And I think it's kind of silly to think that it's Did you see your cover? Listen, if Dan wants to criticize me, why doesn't he just come on stream? You know, he blocked me too. Deliver the opinion of the court. Into how I take a look at these First Amendment issues compared to Justice Thomas. I'm not saying that Justice Thomas has said anything wrong here just yet. Whatever reason that was back in the day, they do it. Even assuming these approaches are equal or more effective, under any scrutiny, regulation will not be invalidated because the court could have done something more narrow.
Okay. Hi.
Thanks for having me, Wick. My name is Mike. I am a practicing attorney, so I've been practicing law for about 7 years. Licensed in New York and California. The first couple years were in patent litigation and technology transactions, so a lot of IP focus. I actually currently work in interactive entertainment, so still doing IP work, but a lot of work with video game companies, media, internet companies, so on and so forth. All this is to say, you know, I've had quite a few years of legal practice. I don't profess to be a constitutional law scholar, but I do feel comfortable talking about this case. And so that's what I'm here to do. I'm completely new to the debate space. And so again, you know, please be gentle. And thank you for having me.
Okay, well, what do you think about the case?
I only
Are you
have
for it,
this
against it? Give us your opening thoughts.
Hold up.
Oh, right. On the case, substantively, I'm against it. And, you know, I have my points laid out. I think
I have this pulled
that
up. I saw
legally,
somebody
substantively,
talking
the
about
analysis
how
on the Judiciary Act, I
Lactoid
disagree
got
with. I
bodied
agree
by a
with
new streamer or some
Justice
shit. So
Sotomayor's dissent. I also
thought it
believe
could be
that
interesting.
the court choosing this particular case to get rid of nationwide injunctions, you know, from lower courts, is a very partisan decision. And I think it's
Sounds like it
critical
is,
of
but
conservative justices to claim to be nonpartisan, objective, originalists when they've had many opportunities to address this issue during the Biden administration. You know, I also think,
True.
you know, that it's just a devastating case in general in terms of practical consequences. And so I'm happy to talk about all these points.
Okay, we'll get into it as we go. Thank you for being here. Wonderful to have you. Next up, no stranger to my show,
you're an
Lactoid.
originalist.
What
Why
are your
have any
thoughts?
amendments at all that you
Hey
follow?
everybody, my name is Lactoid. You can find me at Lactoid TV on Twitch.
Not very originalist,
So
you
great
buddy.
to be on a panel with all of you here today on this beautiful day. So my opinion on this is, first of all, a little bit about me. I am an originalist attorney. I have been practicing for 5 years, not the full 7, so maybe I got a little bit less credibility there.
Dipshit.
But in terms of this
He
actual
hasn't even practiced 7 years. Are you kidding me?
I agree with the majority. I was, before reading it, I was a little bit, I don't really know how I felt about universal injunctions, but I think that Amy Coney Barrett put forward a very
That's probably the
convincing
only
argument,
time he cites her, by the way.
that it was not intended to be part of the Judiciary Act.
Okay, we'll get into it when we get there. Thank you for being here, sir. Next up, first time person on my show, we're happy to have him. Tristan, please.
Hello. I'm no lawyer, but I do have, I think,
this camera is
opinions on
nice.
topics that are pretty reasonable, pretty logical. When it comes to the SCOTUS ruling, I believe that, I'm a big fan of the Constitution. I'm a big fan of how most things were laid out. I'm a big fan of the flexibility that is provided within the Constitution to have different laws enacted and changed when it doesn't serve us anymore. And I think that the SCOTUS ruling is a great change on the the structure of how we go about things. And I think that most people who aren't on board with it think it's a partisan thing, and I don't believe that. And I don't think we should be creating laws as a result of that. So I'm arguing in favor of the SCOTUS ruling.
Okay, well, glad to have you, and we'll get into it as we go. Last but certainly not least, Radical Coder. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Ryan, Radical Coder. I do a lot of debates and I teach people how to code, and sometimes I argue about politics. And
Interesting.
I'm definitely not a lawyer, but I did dig a lot into this specific topic and the specific ruling, and I think regardless of whether you think it's a good thing or a bad thing, it's
yourself.
definitely a major shakeup. It is a huge precedent shift, and I don't think we should take it lightly at all. I think the consequences are going to be generational, it looks partisan on paper, regardless. Again, like, regardless of how you feel. Obviously, it was ruled in a very partisan way, and it is undeniably going to give the executive branch more power, which it already has been trying to consolidate. So I think we should be at least very suspicious and cautious as we go into it. I don't know. It makes me nervous, but I could be convinced that it's a sound legal decision, but that I don't think. I don't buy that it's just like a purely neutral constitutional analysis. From where I'm standing, it just looks kind of sussy.
Okay, well, thank you for being here, and we will get into it. And with that, the floor is open for discussion, questions, etc. Again, if you have trouble talking or getting a word in edgewise, you feel like you're being talked over, please raise your hand or DM me or something, and I'll try to get you some space to have your say. But with that, the floor is yours. Take it away, gang.
Yeah, I can start with a question.
Go ahead, Lactoid first, and then we'll get into it.
This is a question for the pro side, and this is, I think, the hurdle really that you're going to have to get over. If the Judiciary Act of 1789 intended for the Article 3 courts to be able to issue universal injunctions, why was the first real concrete example of a universal injunction not until 1963, almost 200 years later?
I can't watch this right now. I feel like I want to watch this and react to it and actually like deep dive into understanding what some certain things are being referenced are. But I feel like if I just gloss over it, I'll just shit talk without any substance. What a wild title. 4-year-old refuses to die after mass killer dad goes on rampage.
She ran around the table, but I caught up with her. She was screaming, and I grabbed the knife, and I started walking towards her, and she started panicking. Yeah. I think I got her by the hair, by the arm, and just sunk it in her. I stabbed her. I stuck it in his arm and twisted it. I f***ed him up.
Why your son?
The devil had me. Every time I stab him, he just scream. He just screaming, Dad! I punched him right in the face. He wouldn't die. I was so angry at my family. I wanted them dead.
911, what is your emergency?
I just killed my family. What's the name?
Are you sure that you did this and you're not dreaming?
It's like somebody faking being insane.
I hope to God it is, but it's not. It's real.
I hope to God it's real.
I haven't been sleeping.
I've been a little tired, and the voices told me to beat the shit out of my kid.
I was screaming at the top of my lungs. And I killed him.
Okay, how many are there?
3. Wife and 2 children.
How old are they?
My wife is 28. My daughter's 10. My son's 4. This isn't a joke.
Okay. Why?
I'm not here right away because I'm terrified.
Why did you do this?
I felt like someone really died. I've got some on me and I did it.
Have you been having some problems?
But I'm not myself. I'm possessed.
Have you been drinking tonight?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Where's your knife at?
It's in my trunk.
In the early morning hours of May 30th, 2009,
What the fuck?
29-year-old Michael Miller called 911 with a chilling message. Moments ago, he claimed to have killed his wife and 2 children. Michael apparently spiraled out of control, launching
I
a
got the Tim
rampage
Pool
that
ass look.
resulted in a case that unfolds like a real-life horror story. However, as Michael recalls the details of his vicious crime,
bitch. Eat
authorities
shit.
grapple with trying to uncover the truth of what really
that.
happened that night. The following footage has been evaluated by a professional team, including a licensed professional counselor and a licensed clinical psychologist. After an unusual 911 call, authorities aren't sure what to expect as they arrive at the Miller suburban family home in Glendale, Arizona on May 30th, 2009. But it wasn't this. As they pull up to the house, Michael Miller is standing outside, wearing nothing but his underwear. He's barefoot and confused,
Gross.
his entire body stained with blood. In his 911
Undies.
call, he seemed to be lucid, but now something is different. He tells police he's not sure what happened. The only thing he knows is that he's mentally unwell and his entire family is dead inside. Or so he thinks. Suddenly, Michael's voice drops to a hair-raising whisper.
God, you're such a fucking
He tells
pussy.
first responders
Eat
he's been
shit.
possessed, ominously warning that something serious is happening to his soul. What authorities would find inside the home would leave them utterly haunted, questioning whether Michael was an evil genius, a victim of circumstance, or something in between. As police enter the
Where do you
residence,
get the
they're met with
genius
a horrifying
consideration
scene.
from? Sounds
A broken
wild.
cell phone lay in pieces on the floor next to a dent in the wall. Empty alcohol bottles cluttered surfaces, and several family photos rested in a heap next to the living room couch, a couch that was converted into a makeshift bed. Like everything else, the blanket and pillow were freshly stained with red. Stains are splashed across the walls, with pools collecting underneath 3 victims on the floor. Throughout the home, red footprints mark the steps of their killer in the moments just after his brutal attacks. Police rush to help Michael's family, but they're too late. His wife, 28-year-old Adriana Miller, and their daughter, 10-year-old Valerie, show no signs of life. Their attention shifts when they hear a soft cry from Michael's 4-year-old son, Brian. Somehow, despite severe injuries, he's still breathing. Police wait for backup, but the boy is fading fast.
Fuck you, fuck you,
Every
fuck you,
second
bitch.
counts, and he's dropping in and out of consciousness. Once help arrives, the 4-year-old is airlifted to a nearby hospital. His injuries are so extensive, authorities know they're inches away from declaring this home the scene of a triple
Asshole.
homicide. Michael Miller has
Very
some
rude,
explaining to
actually.
do.
Actually
This is gonna
rude.
feel so good getting these cuffs off.
You.
Probably hurt, huh? After a while.
Yeah, very bad.
Oh, very bad. So bad. That hurts so bad.
Back at the station, Michael
Oh,
wastes no
oh
time
God.
complaining. While childish, this behavior isn't entirely unusual after committing
I don't know.
a
I
crime.
feel like these swords are just
It's a way
overpowered
for
as fuck. So I'm
perpetrators
gonna
to
take
attempt
one
to
of
play
these.
the victim. However, they usually aren't
God,
acting
it
like
hurts
this
so
to this
bad.
extreme degree. Michael may also be using his discomfort as a distraction in hopes of avoiding the discussion that's to come. Yet evidence of Michael's recent violence is written all over his body.
Bitch.
A red handprint stains his right arm, and strange marks are on the tops of his feet, marks that Michael will repeatedly draw attention to during his interview. Once he's alone, Michael begins speaking to himself.
It's good.
Pussy, pussy, pussy. Pussy. Little bitch.
Father, I'm telling the truth. I don't care what happens. I don't care if I go to jail for 1,000 years. I'm telling the truth. Just get me out of here. Jesus, set me free. Set me free, Jesus.
That's just so fake, dude.
Michael is in a modified pyramid pose with his hands, typically associated with being in control and confident. This is
Andrew
very
Tate
strange
pose.
considering the
He's a
situation.
red pillar.
You would think he would feel out of control.
Whoa!
Don't be bashful. I can tell the truth.
Whoa!
Father God, I've come to you before you.
You put that sword in my cock, dude. Not chill.
Don't let me be afraid of what's gonna happen.
Oh my god.
Father, remind me, if I tell the truth, you deal
How
with
did
the
I
consequences.
do that?
So, Father God, it's up to you.
Insane.
Whether I get out of here or not. Father God, I love you. In Jesus' name I pray. Thank you. I love you, Father. Jesus, Holy Spirit. Amen.
Okay, never mind.
He had a big smile on his face. I think they're okay. I think you guys are okay. I love you, baby. I miss you.
Bruh. Bruh moment. Certified. Fuck! God damn it. Silly little bitch.
As the detective approaches the room, Michael makes a point to emphasize his feelings of discomfort.
God, it hurts.
Oh God, my eyes.
shoulders
It
hurt
hurts
so
so bad.
bad.
Oh God. Oh God.
Where's this first do that?
My shoulders hurt so bad.
So bad.
Sore?
Oh
Like,
God.
Yeah, it's sore. It's because my arms were back there for so long, and I was like, it feels good to stretch them out.
You lift them up, stretch.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, it feels good. I was in those cuffs for a long time.
Sorry about that. Hey, Michael,
My
like I
wrists,
said
they're so
downstairs, my name is
fragile.
Brandon.
I don't
I'm a
even know
detective
how
with the
I
Glendale Police Department.
stood there that long with them
I
on.
was asked to come in here
Oh
and talk to you
God,
about
it
why we're here
hurts
and
so
what happened.
bad.
I want to know.
Fuck.
And Michael, do you like to go by Mike or Michael?
Either or, it doesn't matter. I'm
Bitch.
called Mike or Michael. It doesn't matter.
Oh,
Mike,
okay.
whatever you're comfortable with.
The detective starts by collecting background information,
Ooh.
which can help him establish a
Eat shit.
baseline for Michael's behavior.
you,
Understanding how Michael communicates
you.
during routine conversation makes it easier to pick up on deception in the future. In Michael's case, this baseline is especially important. During his 911 call, he shared with authorities that he's been diagnosed as both bipolar and schizophrenic. Early in the investigation, authorities are always on high alert, looking for any indication that suspects aren't being truthful. And they know it's not unusual for people to falsely claim mental illness. However, suspects often think they can get away with
Eat
crimes
shit.
if they claim mental instability, which can lead to falsification or exaggeration of
Yeah.
symptoms. For now, the detective works on building
I
rapport
didn't wanna
by
say it,
asking how
but-
long Michael and Adriana have been married.
11 years. Well, this August will be 11 years.
11 years.
How long were you guys dating
Wow.
before that?
A
Wow.
year and a half, year and 4
Wow.
months. Well, we started dating on April 8th, and we got married on August 8th.
That's cute.
Yeah, a year and 4 months.
Where'd you guys meet?
Wendy's.
Wendy's. Like, were you guys working there?
We were working there, and I was closing, and she was closing, and I went in there and said, "Hey, wanna kick it with me? Wanna go out with me? You know, be my girl?" Oh, I
The
don't know.
riz on this
And then she's
dude.
like, yeah,
Let's
it's okay, I'll
fucking
do it.
go.
And then we've been together ever since.
Good for him.
Adriana's seemingly hesitant response is an eerie beginning for this ill-fated love story. If only she knew that single decision would change the course of her life forever. Michael and Adriana married when they found out she was pregnant with their first child,
That's kind of
Valerie.
fun to do, actually. That.
And eventually,
Hitting
Michael
with the
says
shield.
the pair both secured jobs working for the same health insurance company. While Adriana remained employed there, Michael wouldn't stick around too long.
Bitch.
Instead,
Bitch.
he gave up his job and went to work for Papa
I don't think
John's
so.
Pizza.
What do you do there?
I deliver pizzas.
Damn, you cheated on her with
Pizza
Wendy's
delivery driver.
or
How long have you
Papa
done that?
John's.
I've been doing it for about 3 or 4 months now.
Good job.
It started off good, but lately the economy's getting worse and less people are buying pizzas. So
Right.
yeah,
Right. So it's kind of hits you too, huh?
yeah, but it's okay.
You're telling me this is not a pizza economy? What year is this?
Is it a long story or is it?
This is at least a year ago.
With alcohol.
Oh, okay.
And
And it was more.
I got to the
It was
point where I
most
wanted
definitely
to
a
drink
fucking pizza
alcohol
economy.
every single day, all
I'm
day. I'd get home from work,
dead again.
and first thing I would do was pick up a beer, and I'd have 12, 13 of them, and that's not right.
God damn, dude.
Michael tells officers that he had a recent wake-up call when it came to his alcohol use. One day, his son, 4-year-old Brian, attended a class at church. He took the teacher by surprise when he asked if her soda was actually alcohol.
And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, okay, I gotta stop. And then I tried to quit on my own power, and I kept trying, God, just, I'll do this better, I'll do that better. And it didn't work. And
Sounds like you failed him.
I did this. I did this. I tried to kill myself. This
Fucking
wasn't
go,
no
bitch.
joke. I did that really
I
hard.
don't know how I
wanted to
did
get
that.
out of there. I wanted out of life.
While Michael's story about the
Clean.
attempt is certainly serious and worthy of concern, he may
Smooth
be
with
sharing
it.
the story now as another way to try to victimize himself. By conveying his own suffering, he may feel that he'll win lenience later down the line.
When was that?
That was late September, early October.
Last year?
Oh wait, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
bitch.
Did they take you to the hospital?
Yes, my wife did.
From this point, Michael's
right.
behavior only gets more and more strange.
Who's your doctor?
It's
It's
the
a
man.
county funded psychiatric unit.
How long have you
Doctors.
been with them?
2004?
Michael explains that he's rotated through a few mental health specialists over the past few years. He struggles to remember exact timelines, but alludes to a major incident a few years prior that led to his diagnoses of bipolar and schizophrenic.
Well, I got sick in November. I was hospitalized November, December, January. I started seeing him in November,
he's
December
autistic.
of
That's why he killed his family.
What do you mean you got sick?
I thought people were following me.
I had
thought,
Asperger's.
I thought cars were following me. I thought people were trying to kill me.
Damn,
I
dog.
saw the spiritual battle that was being fought.
The spiritual
And
battle.
it made me
Base.
panic
Base.
because I couldn't understand.
Based.
You know, the Bible says that even
Based.
Earth is
Based.
It sees what happens and it trembles. And I know sometimes I saw. the other
Being
day I saw
base
something
is
that
my
kind of
spiritual
freaked
battle
me
that
out,
I
and
face
what
every
happened
day.
was I saw a crab, like a sand crab.
A crab?
I saw it walking and I looked, and then it turned into a leaf. So I am really f***ing sick. Really bad.
The paranoia, persecutory delusions, and religious-themed delusions Michael describes are classic examples of psychosis, and under the right circumstances, these symptoms can be dangerous. Acts of extreme violence like Michael's are rare for people with psychosis, but inevitably, if a person acts on paranoia and delusions, there's a risk of them harming either themselves or those around them. As Michael explains his symptoms, the existence of some mental illness seems likely, but the severity of his symptoms and whether or not they could be the cause of what drove him to kill is still unknown. When he first arrived at the police station, Michael's behavior proved quite strange. Michael was kept in a holding cell while authorities prepared for his questioning, and police reports reflect that he was extremely agitated. He smeared feces on the walls and kicked the door repeatedly, threatening and yelling at
He's
nearby
committed
officers.
to the bit at least.
And this wouldn't be the last time police would see erratic behavior from Michael. Police were left wondering, was his behavior the product of real mental illness, or could it be a ruse? Soon, they would get their answer.
But I'm fine.
Okay.
Ain't no
What do you
way.
mean you're fine?
I take the medicine. As long as I get sleep. Oh, God knows I need sleep. If I get sleep, I'm fine. I don't have these problems.
How many hours of sleep did you get the night before?
Roughly 5 or 6.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I got a good night's sleep.
After his recent episode of psychosis, Michael says he paid a visit to the doctor only 2 days before the murders.
It was just recently increased.
Okay.
My dosage was increased the other day.
The diagnosis?
So I increased my dosage on my bipolar medicine. And yesterday was my second day taking the dose that I was supposed to be taking.
Right.
And they also gave me a sleeping pill
Not
to
my
help
problem.
me sleep at night.
Not
Michael
my
may be mentioning his
problem.
bipolar medicine as some form of damage control. If he reminds the detective that he's bipolar, He may hope that could influence the way the detective perceives him, and perhaps change the outcome of this interview. At the same time, the fact that Michael's medications were increased recently is a red flag. This, along with his claims of trouble sleeping, might signal recent stressors in Michael's life, including family troubles, or it may point to an uptick in the severity of his symptoms. Meanwhile, as police search Michael's home, they make some strange discoveries. Tucked away in Michael's dresser are 63 pages worth of freshly printed documents. Documents dated for the day of Michael's doctor appointment. The pages outlined mania, sleep disorders, bipolar, schizoaffective, and schizophrenia, and other mental illnesses in depth, including definitions, symptoms, treatments, and common medications. Could Michael have been researching how to mimic a mental health crisis? The sheer amount of pages, 63 to be exact, certainly seemed to indicate that he was doing some intense research. Could he have been looking into what to report to police and how to act in order to malinger or exaggerate and fake his illness? Or is it possible that his wife could have been doing this in-depth research to try and figure out what was going on with Michael? It's important to keep this in mind as his interrogation gets underway. A cluster of red flags are often present in instances of malingering, including sharing a sudden onset of especially severe symptoms, describing unlikely combinations of symptoms like mania and increased sleep, and claiming to have highly specific and rare symptoms. While symptoms of true mental disturbances vary widely by individual, malingerers often follow subtle patterns in the way they describe their symptoms. For example, if malingerers claim auditory hallucinations, they often describe extremes, like hearing terrifying threats and obscene language. Individuals experiencing genuine symptoms, on the other hand, experience symptoms in degrees, often reporting that their hallucinations can seem conversational. Visual hallucinations are the most common symptom reported by malingerers, and they typically describe scenes in black and white or with a single pronounced color. Those with genuine symptoms often describe their experiences as having a full spectrum of color. Finally, when those with legitimate illnesses describe delusional thinking, they may become defensive when asked about their experiences, while those who are fabricating their experiences may not. With this strange discovery in mind, the detective knows it's time to get Michael's side of the story, but he could never imagine how truly gut-wrenching this story would be.
You know, obviously we need to talk about what happened with you calling us, calling the department.
Why did you
police
do that?
department over. Can you just
Fucking
tell me what
bitch.
happened?
I was at home.
Scare the fuck out
I
of me.
didn't get any sleep last night. My wife got up and we were running around the house doing stuff.
Bitch.
And I pulled out a knife and I stabbed her.
That's normal.
Stabbed my daughter.
Normal
stabbed
behavior.
my son. Punched my son in the face.
Yeah, it's normal.
I was trying to kill him.
Why did he get extra
But
treatment?
it wasn't me. Really? It wasn't me.
It wasn't him, dog. Trust him.
It was me.
Oh, you said it was you.
What?
Yes. Okay.
This odd shift in comments is only the beginning of a truly bizarre story that's about to unfold.
You said that you hadn't slept. Did you work last night?
I worked last night, but I did not close. I got off at 9:30. I think it was
All
closer
right.
to 10. I can't remember.
Last one.
But I came home and I ate.
10:30 at night.
10:30 at night, yeah. 10 or so, I don't remember. I came home.
Punch
and
this guy.
I had some food. Took my medicine.
Next.
No, it was before 10. It was before 10 because I remember having to tuck the kids in bed when I got home. It was a little bit before 10. I said tuck the kids in bed so we can hang out and watch TV
Fuck
and
off
talk.
me, bitch.
Do they normally go to bed
Bruise
at
you.
10?
Yeah, on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah,
Oh,
bitch.
Okay.
Okay, I got you.
Try me.
How was business last night? At work?
So,
Yeah, did you make
well,
any?
I made 15, 20, 25 bucks. I made 25 bucks.
Was that
She's
good?
going ham back there.
Not for a Friday night.
What would be a good Friday night?
45, 50,
Bitch.
55,
Right.
70.
So it's about half, even almost a third.
Yeah.
Although the detective seems to pepper Michael with mundane questions, his approach is intentional. Questions like these allow authorities to accomplish two things. First, they might clue police into any obvious cognitive defects, which could shed light on Michael's ability to reason and think his actions
Let
through.
me at him.
Second,
Give me
the
a
questions can
dacket.
further establish
Oh, no,
rapport
give me
as the
these,
detective
actually.
carefully eases Michael into more
Bitch.
difficult topics.
All right, so you came home. You tucked the kids in bed, or did you have your wife tuck the kids in bed?
My wife tucked the kids in bed.
And we keep talking about your wife.
And I tucked him in bed. She tucked him in first, then I did. That's my wife saying she wants more kids. I'm like, not such a good idea.
No, I
I'm
can't
not
have any more
mentally stable
kids.
for that.
Michael's
I'll kill him.
ill-timed joke reveals a certain degree of self-awareness. In his circumstances, this is something that may determine his fate.
Then what happened?
I said a prayer with my son. I rubbed his back and I said a prayer. Tucked him in.
That's why he's
fell
still
asleep.
alive.
What kind of prayer? Is it like a
To
standard prayer?
Jesus. No, we don't usually pray. We don't usually pray. We just 2 weeks ago I feel like I've been baptized with the Holy Spirit with
Fuck you,
fire. I
fuck
feel
you.
like I'm on fire for the Lord.
Oh, good.
So I'm trying to pray with him and teach him. Well, I'm not trying. I am praying with him, and I'm doing things that the Lord wants us to do.
What did you guys pray about?
I pray that the Lord would keep him safe. We thank him for the house. We thank him for the car. We
Why
thank
would
him
you-
for the food. We thank him for mommy and daddy.
So just your
You
standard.
pray to
kind
keep
of
him
a
safe,
to
but
Jesus prayer.
killed him.
Okay. And then what happened?
Then I went
Wow.
and tucked in my daughter.
Did you pray with your daughter?
No, I don't think so.
No, that's why she.
Aside from the fact that Michael
sorry.
didn't pray with his daughter, the details he shares about tucking her in are noticeably absent compared to his son. Perhaps this signifies nothing more than unique relationships with each of his children, but it may also point to more. Michael recalls a recent religious awakening that spurred his new prayer habit. This sudden connection could be harmless, but given Michael's religious preoccupation, it could also mark the onset of the psychotic episode that would change his life. Religious
Accident.
preoccupation and schizophrenia tends to occur more in cultures with more
Accident.
religious occurrence in the general population. It's important to remember that spiritualism and religious preoccupation is common among mentally healthy people, and that mental illness tends to just skew the normal behaviors to the extreme, which may be why this kind of preoccupation is often seen in schizophrenia, especially considering if someone was raised in a religious community. They may have been raised with an understanding that someone speaking out of thin air or an auditory hallucination could be God talking. So then when it starts to happen, it follows that they would automatically assume that's what the voice is.
It's reasonable.
Then we went to our room and we got some weed and smoked some weed.
Is that against your religion, dog?
Yes.
That's really fucked
she
up.
smokes out of a bong, I smoke out of a pipe, and I smoke
You're
weed.
going to hell, not for killing your
alone.
family, but
About 2 puffs.
smoking weed.
It doesn't take much to get me high.
Does your wife smoke a lot?
I'm actually
Yeah, she
like a
smokes probably
lightweight.
about a bowl.
Okay. All right. So you guys smoke some weed,
Yes.
and then what?
Let me at him. Whoa. Man.
We were watching TV. We put the weed
Bitch
away. We were
ass.
watching TV.
Eat shit.
We were talking. We were talking.
You remember what you guys were talking about?
Yeah.
I think we were watching House Hunters on HGTV.
Okay, in your room or in the living
In
room?
our room.
Okay.
In our bedroom.
HD
Michael
TV.
takes long pauses and leans forward, touching his face as if to physically hold himself back from saying something.
Homo.
He may be struggling to recall the timeline, or he may be so focused
Struggling
on
to
telling
not
it
be
in a
fucking
certain
gay.
way that it consumes all his cognitive energy.
His
Soon Michael will
cognitive.
describe them for the Miller family. Pay attention to Michael's memory, or lack thereof.
And then we tried to sleep. I tried to go to sleep, but I listened to my headphones when I was laying down. I had my MP3 player. I was listening to my headphones, and I laid down in bed, and she fell asleep, and I didn't fall asleep at all. I kind of meditated for 2 hours, and then I got up and I lost train of thought. I meditated and I got up and I
He's
went on the
neurodivergent,
computer, I
okay?
think. God help me! What do we do? That's when the fighting started. When I woke up.
Why would God help you right now, dog?
The fighting?
It's very unfair of you to. Jesus.
I want to stay down.
Unfair of you to
Well,
ask
you got
that
home at
from him.
10:20.
Oh no, we didn't fight that night. The fight was this morning.
Yeah.
This morning.
What time were you guys fighting?
Oh, we were fighting probably about. That was probably about 4 in the morning when I went on the computer, I think.
Oh, okay. So you've been up that whole time?
Yeah, I've been up the whole time. Okay. Yeah, and
Were
then
you just having a hard time sleeping?
I have medicine to help me sleep. Cause me to sleepwalk, and do stuff in my sleepwalking. So
Like kill
so now
family
I'm taking
members
no,
or something?
No, I'm not taking that anymore. So I'm taking something else now.
And does that seem to work? Or?
It worked the first night, but it didn't work last night.
Have you only been on it 2 days?
Gulp.
Yes.
Okay. So you took the pill last night?
Yes.
Okay, and you didn't sleep?
No.
Michael mentions old medicine here, and he may be referring to Ambien, as it's fairly notorious for causing sleepwalking and acting out while asleep. While it's unknown if he was actually taking Ambien, it does beg the question of the research he was doing. As Ambien has a history of
Allegedly, it might have
effects,
been his
including
fucking bitch
hallucinations,
wife.
there's the possibility that Michael researched this and is mentioning it here to set up a story. There's also a long delay before
No
he
offense
says
to his
yes
wife.
when asked
Sorry.
if he's only been on it for 2 days.
Sorry,
This
Lord.
pause could be an attempt to give himself a chance to think, to make sure he answers the way he wants. It does seem convenient that he just had his meds changed, and that he keeps emphasizing it. As he gets closer and closer to critical moments in his story,
All right,
Michael's
boys.
recollection fails him.
Let's go.
He can't seem to nail down whether or not he slept, and the first timeline he offers doesn't add up.
Bitch.
Memory troubles like these
Bitch.
may be due to cognitive disturbances that are common in schizophrenia and schizoaffective disorders. However, Michael could be using his alleged diagnosis to say he had a reason to not remember, and as a way to keep from having to answer.
Okay, so about 4 a.m. you said?
About 4 a.m. I woke up.
And what happened?
My wife got mad at me, really mad at me for yelling, or she got mad at me for not sleeping. I go, babe, you can't get mad at me for not sleeping. It's not my fault. And she, well, no. She goes off. No.
Yeah, being a
And,
fucking
I
bitch
say,
and stuff, right?
Well, what the is your problem? And then I started meditating in my brain.
Whoa.
And I started thinking.
In his
okay,
fucking
well,
brain?
God,
Are you kidding me?
Father, Jesus, the Son. Who's
It's
the Spirit?
impressive.
Who's the Spirit of God? And I started thinking it was Lucifer.
Hmm.
I thought it was Satan. I thought it was God the Father. I thought he was married to Lucifer.
Whoa,
And they had a son,
God was married to
Jesus.
the devil?
Okay. That's what I thought. And then
Yikes, that's crazy.
then I was indwelt by Satan and I killed him.
What?
Well, wait, let's talk about that. You said you're enveloped with Satan? What was the word?
Indwelt.
What does that mean?
Consumed.
I don't know, I forgot.
Michael describes an argument with Adriana that is suddenly eclipsed by an intense religious preoccupation. These preoccupations can be dangerous if the affected person feels like they're being commanded to act in a way that causes harm to another person. These kinds of thoughts can quickly cross over into delusions. Michael's preoccupation does just that, leaning into delusional territory as he describes an abrupt possession by Satan.
Tell me a little bit about that. When you said your Satan was in you, what happened?
I
He was
lost
raping me,
all
so
control.
I killed
had no
him.
self-control. None.
Uh-huh.
I just snapped and she became like a demon.
All right.
And I just
Yeah, she's
This
not.
is an interesting thing to say and might actually be an issue in his story. Michael says that he snapped and
Fuck
then she
you.
turned into a demon.
You're so
But
bad
it
at
seems
this
like it would be
fucking
more
game.
logical to say that she turned into a demon and then he snapped and killed her.
So what'd you do?
I killed her.
I killed her. I had to. I had to do that. I had to kill her.
I stabbed her a lot. I don't know where.
I mean, where's the
I had to
knife? Where did you
punch
get
her in
the
her
knife?
face like I did
in
my
our-
son. Duh.
In our
Duh.
in our knife holder thing. Like
Michael touches his mouth here,
Bitch.
and just before that moment
Yeah.
makes a lip compression,
Yeah.
which indicates a negative response to the questioning, as well as uncertainty, as his answer also has an upward inflection.
Well, tell me, how did you stab her? I mean, was she on the ground or was she
Yeah,
standing
I did
up?
that.
I blacked out.
Yeah.
I stabbed her at least 4 times.
Okay.
Do
you know where you stabbed her?
No.
Okay. Okay.
Is she okay?
I'll tell you everything
Okay,
that's going on.
okay.
So, I just don't want to lose our train of
Okay,
thought
okay,
here.
I'm sorry.
As he asks, is she okay, Michael covers his mouth, which is a movement known as covering
was
the lie,
smiling.
where people try to physically hide
Fucker.
a lie. He likely made this movement because he already knows the answer, and that she isn't okay. Before his interview, Michael has already acknowledged the deaths of his family members. Perhaps his question about Adriana's
Well, that's
well-being
because
is
Satan
simply an
told him.
attempt to shift focus away from himself, or avoid telling the story, even if only for a moment.
So, did you stab her first?
Yes. I was screaming at her. I said, shut the fuck up. I started taking songs from Eminem's music. I started taking lyrics from Eminem's music and saying, you're gonna fucking die. Here comes Satan. I'm the Antichrist. I'm gonna kill you. You're fucking gone. And
That's my favorite
and I
Eminem
started
lyric, by the
stabbing
way.
her. I did.
I did.
Do you know how
I
many
had
times you
to.
stabbed
I
her?
did do that.
If I was
Jeez.
yes, I would say 4, but maybe 3. Maybe
You know how
5.
women get.
And was she standing up or was she on the ground?
She was standing up. I think I got her in the stomach.
Okay. And then she fell to the ground, or
Yeah,
did you stab her while she was on the ground?
in the heart.
Did you punch her at all?
Yes,
Yep.
in the face.
Before or after you stabbed her?
Maybe
Both? Oh,
stabbed
I was
my daughter,
joking, but
too.
Yeah, tell me about that.
She came over and she started freaking out and she, Daddy, stop! And I just got it and just right in the middle of her chest. I just stuck it right into her chest.
So she came out after you were stabbing your wife?
No, I had the
Fuck
knife in
you,
my hand,
retard,
and I was
retard,
gonna
retard,
stab her
retard.
when she came out.
When your daughter came
Okay,
out?
that's good.
Because you knew she was going to come out, or?
I didn't know she was gonna come out. I thought there was a certain spell on the house, and I didn't think she would actually get up and come out. I thought Satan was gonna keep everyone asleep so I could just kill her, but I didn't know what I was gonna do with the other 2 kids. I was gonna kill my wife, but I didn't know what to do with them.
After hinting that he planned to kill his daughter in advance, Michael immediately backtracks.
So tell me about that.
She was screaming, and I grabbed
Nope,
the knife
nope,
and I
nope,
started
nope,
walking
nope,
towards her.
nope,
She
nope,
started
nope, nope, nope.
panicking,
Yeah.
like
Okay,
you
cool.
would not believe.
Sick.
And I got her.
Okay,
I think
sick.
I got her by the hair or by the arm and just sunk it in her. I got her.
In the chest or stomach?
I think in the
Fuck
chest.
you, whore.
Okay, then what happened?
Why'd you do this? Why? Why?
She
Why?
fell to the ground.
How
Her
could
eyes
you?
were open. She looked like she was.
How could you do this to me? Oh no.
Okay. Talk to me.
Does this mean I have to start back as a peasant?
Oh, is she freaking out 'cause she just saw her mom?
Bitch.
Well, she saw me with the knife, threatening her. She
Oh.
ran around the table, but I caught up with her.
Oh, okay. And then what happened?
I stabbed her. I
Duh.
think I grabbed her hair. It's
I called
kind
her a
of
stinky little pig.
kind of patchy. I don't have
I
exact.
punched her.
Okay.
I don't have exact frame by frame details. Cause the whole time I was in there, I was trying to ignore it and fight it and not see it.
Right.
Michael does an eye-blocking movement to cover his eyes, which is often seen when someone doesn't want to see or remember something they've seen. He then exaggerates this by actually closing his eyes.
So did you only stab her once?
I think so.
Okay. Did you punch her?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Did you just say, bitch? Why?
You said her eyes
Why?
were open.
Yeah.
Did you leave the knife in her, or did you just stab her with
I need to go to bed. What
Was it the same
I
knife
can't.
as with your wife?
I don't know what to do.
Oh, okay.
After describing an act of horrifying violence toward his own daughter, Michael shares sickening details
All right,
about
one
his
last,
four-year-old son's attack.
one real
I
last
was
one.
the
That
worst
one
on
was
him.
that
I
one was
stabbed him the
fake.
most. I stabbed him
Watch
in the back.
this.
I stuck it in his arm and twisted it. I him up.
Why? Why your son?
The devil had me. It wasn't me.
Right.
It wasn't me.
All right,
it was
all right.
me, but it wasn't. It wasn't my insides that
Okay.
could do that.
I'm locking
It
in.
wasn't my insides that could kill my family.
Right. But I guess what I'm asking is why him so many times?
Because he wouldn't die. Every time I stab him, he just scream. He just scream and. God.
Right. Where on his body did you stab? You said you got him in the arm and
in the back, in the arm, in the stomach.
It doesn't even sound like he killed them. Like, sounds like he just made up the crime.
In the back a couple times. I punched him right in the face.
Why'd you punch him in the face?
Because I wanted him to die. Because I was indwelt by Satan.
Right.
Then
Yeah,
I see
of
my
course.
wife laying in a pool of blood.
Does he not fucking
I see
get
my
it?
daughter laying in a pool of blood. I get up and I have peace. I'm like, why do I have peace?
Michael describes being, in his words, indwelled or possessed
How?
by Satan.
You're weak.
Yet shows no signs of
Coward.
distress. If he truly felt he was possessed by an evil entity, this should be the moment of reckoning. The moment he realizes the agony he caused his family in what he believes was a possessed state. The moment he feels total devastation over his actions, whether or not he was in control. But that moment doesn't come.
I was like, I feel calm. I'm like, okay, God is doing something here. I just don't know what he's doing. And then I got some blood on me. And then I came and I got into, I don't know what happened to my feet. I don't know what this is all about. They look like piercings, like Jesus.
Let's rewind to when Michael first entered the interrogation room. As we saw early in the
fuck?
interrogation, Michael had strange circular marks on the top of each foot. Here, Michael compares these to the markings Jesus Christ received during the crucifixion. For now, the detective ignores Michael's comment and moves on. But Michael doesn't plan on dropping the conversation.
Well, how did you get all the blood all over you? Is this when you were stabbing?
When I was stabbing them, and I put my hand in there, and then I must have tried to wipe.
Yeah, I did that. I did that.
Is that your handprint right there in your arm?
I did that.
Or is that?
It might be. It might be.
Did any of them grab you when you were stabbing them?
Fuck you, bitch. Fuck you. Fuck you. I'm gonna
No,
punch the
I don't
fuck
think
out of
so.
this person that I see. The first person I see, I'm gonna punch the fuck out of
Then
them.
I
Watch,
tried
watch,
to make
watch.
a cigarette. I rolled a cigarette because I rolled my own
Let's go.
cigarette. So I
Come on.
rolled a cigarette.
Let's go.
And I was
at
kind of
that,
in a
bitch.
panic. I had peace, but I was in a panic. I just kind of walked around like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? And I was looking at him. And I was looking at him. I was like, die. I just wanted them
Fucking
just to
whore.
die. I was so angry at my family. I wanted them dead.
I was gonna say something fucked
Michael's
up, but
words
I won't.
indicate more than just passing anger.
More fucked up, sorry.
Instead, they seem filled with long-standing resentment. Yet he
You
also
think?
absolves himself of responsibility, claiming evil forces were in control. Michael's disturbing lack of remorse seems like a clear sign of a cold-blooded killer. But reduced emotional expression, also known as flat affect, is common in cases of mental illness. It can also be a side effect of psychotropic drugs, like the ones Michael was prescribed. If Michael was in fact in a state of psychosis, it will eventually pass.
I was looking at
And
the
when
fucking.
it does, crushing regret and guilt may finally surface.
I wanted them dead. But then I got here.
Why were you so angry with your family?
Satan.
Satan did it.
Like I said, I was telling
Bitch.
God, I was praying to God. I was praying to Jesus, that Jesus, okay, your father's the Father, and Satan must be the spirit, because the spiritual side comes from.
I know, but what I'm asking you is why are you so mad at the family?
You know.
I don't know.
You
I
know.
don't. I've never had that kind of anger or hate towards them like I had this morning.
Michael's delusions suggest he may be in the midst of a psychotic episode at this very moment, but he doesn't appear to also be in a state of mania. In his case, this is an important distinction. People in severe manic episodes can be challenging to converse with. In their excited state, they may struggle to string ideas together as coherently as Michael does. While Michael seems to have incidents of mania, like when he was highly active and agitated in his holding cell, or during the murders themselves, the absence of mania during psychosis suggests that he may not actually be suffering from bipolar disorder.
Yeah,
Instead,
I
his
did
symptoms
that.
point to an illness that would have an extreme impact on his ability to have any semblance of a normal life. Episodes of psychosis without mania occurring at the same time mean it's likely that he either suffers from schizoaffective disorder
Fuck you.
or may simply
Fuck
be
you. You
schizophrenic.
Kill
While
yourself. In real
schizoaffective
life.
disorder can include symptoms
Anyone
of
that looks
both
like you.
bipolar and schizophrenia, these two disorders aren't commonly diagnosed together as Michael describes. It's thought that they may exist on opposite ends of the psychosis spectrum.
All right, so you were trying to roll a cigarette.
Yes.
And then what?
I rolled it, and I went to light it, and then I was when I lit it, I called.
Calls it
911.
Okay.
Told them I stabbed my family.
Yeah.
They come, and she said, "Are you sure you're not dreaming? You sure you're not dreaming?" I said, "I'm sure. This is real."
Are you sure that you did this and you're not dreaming?
I hope to God this is a dream. I hope I am just.
I hope I do. I swear I do. I hope it is a dream. God, gosh darn it.
So she came, I called and I lit my cigarette, and then I talked. When I was talking to her, she just kept me on the phone, and my cigarette burned out, and I threw it down. And I don't know if I threw it out outside or inside, but I didn't finish it. I didn't finish my cigarette.
Interesting.
The detective is right. This detail is interesting. At the point in his story where his family lay dying, Michael focuses on an unfinished cigarette.
Did you do anything else in the house?
Maybe all over the carpet. Oh,
jizz.
What's all over the carpet?
blood.
Why?
Because I think I stepped in it. It's all over my feet. Like this right here. It's all right here. There's blood right here. Bottom of my feet.
Right. I see that.
Face.
Well, when I was in your house, and I saw
Okay.
I saw your bloody footprints down the hallway towards your bedroom,
Okay.
and you're dripping blood. Why did you go back there?
To pray to Jesus, to thank him for what he did.
What did he do?
He saved my family's life.
How did he save their lives?
You let him
He
in
used
heaven,
me to shoot
bitch.
him or stab him. I didn't shoot them. He used me to stab them, and he brought them back to newness of life.
What do you mean by newness of life?
He
forgave me.
My calling in life is to witness to Mormons and Catholics.
Is he a Mormon now? or
My I see the spiritual realm.
Okay.
I'm a beginner, but I feel like I'm learning the spiritual realm pretty well.
I can tell.
I feel like God is doing something with me that's going to be magnificent.
True.
It won't outdo. But
Okay, but my question is what is newness of life?
Newness of life. Well, they were dead in their trespasses, and now they're raised to newness of life.
Are they up with the Heavenly Father?
They
Is that
are.
what you're trying to
They
say?
are seated in heavenly places. They are seated in
Yeah,
heavenly
let's go.
places. Yes.
Jerk off the air. Let's fucking
Michael is
go.
quoting directly from baptism rites, and he appears to be doing this to sound very devout. Michael's beliefs cross over into the realm of fanaticism and obsession. He appears to be so intensely focused on his ideas that he values them above all else, including the lives of his family. This extreme fixation may be what allows him to justify taking the lives of his wife and children. But were his actions based on simple impulse, or were they a calculated act? That's what isn't so clear. When authorities first arrived at the gruesome scene that morning, there were clues that suggested that this may have been more calculated than Michael wants the police to believe, and that he may not be sharing the full details of what happened. One such clue was a picture that was out of place. Next to Adriana's body was a blood-stained rendering of the Last Supper, neatly propped against the kitchen counter and the floor, positioned directly
If you were
in her
good,
line of
if you were
vision as
good,
she lay
buddy,
dying.
if you were good.
Perhaps it was
You're
pure
not.
coincidence.
You're not
The
good.
details were too unnerving
You're not
to
him.
ignore.
I'm him.
So how long do you think you're back
You're
there
dead.
in your bedroom praying?
I'm him, you're her.
No idea.
Is this before or after you
Worse than not
smoked a
him,
cigarette?
actually.
Well, actually, you said you called 911, so...
So I must have gone and prayed before I called 911.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you know how long? If you had to guess, how long?
6 minutes.
Whoa.
Okay.
If I had to guess.
It's interesting that he can specifically say 6 minutes when he appears unable to remember other details. This may be an example of him having a memory of extremes, including too many details about some things, but none about others.
Was God talking to you then?
Yes.
Not good,
What
buddy.
did God say?
No, he was not talking to me then.
Okay.
I was alone.
Was God talking to you when you were stabbing your family? Killing your family?
No, that was
Yes.
Satan.
What was God saying?
Kill them like to Christ. Mother. Destroy them. Destroy them. They are nothing.
Okay. But do you think God actually wants your family dead? That
No.
He wants your kids dead?
No, he's the perfect example of a family.
Okay, then
Maybe it was from Satan. But that's not from Satan. Jesus is within me.
His self-soothing leg rub here might be because of his discomfort at the
lying.
idea that he was following evil actions. As Michael debates if his actions came
Stop.
from divine
Stop.
or evil sources, he not so subtly
Bitch.
lifts the sheet to reveal his feet. The detective finally addresses the elephant in the room.
I know that the officer saw you do that.
I didn't do that on purpose. No, I don't know how this happened.
Well, I think they saw you touching your finger.
No, I wasn't touching them. I swear to God.
Saying "I swear to God" is a
It's really
convincing
funny.
statement and a red flag that he's being deceptive.
I was on the ground and I kept getting up, and when I get up, my foot would rub.
You mean like the
Oh,
God
and it
that
would
just
rub
told you to
against the
kill your
floor.
fucking
That's how that
family,
came.
dog?
What would you call that?
Wild.
Well, a burn
A
on
freaking
off the
itchy.
floor.
It looks like blood to me.
I don't know.
It's
I
dry
don't know.
blood.
Well, it's dry blood.
A
It could be-
burn. I don't
I've seen that movie
know.
Stigmata. I don't know what that is all about. I don't understand what that's all about. I don't really understand that yet.
Are you
But-
retarded?
This may be a stigmata of some kind. Maybe God's trying to show me something.
In Catholicism, the term stigmata refers to marks on specific areas of the body. These marks are thought to appear spontaneously on areas that would have been injured in Jesus' crucifixion, including the hands and feet. Perhaps by referring to this, Michael is attempting to physically represent the connection he feels with his higher power, or prove that his actions were the result of a divine calling.
What happened to your hand?
This was when I was holding the knife. I was trying to stab her. She had her hand on it too, and she was trying to push it away, and when I stabbed her, I think my hand slipped off the handle and went onto the blade.
Oh, okay, so that just happened. Who put the bandage on there?
The police officer that came to the house.
Adriana attempted to defend herself as Michael came after her. While he doesn't say it, his daughter's autopsy revealed the same. She also fought for her life. And as Michael continues, more shocking details about his family's last moments surface.
Well, I had it, and I said, "You want me to stab you with this?" And she goes, "No." She just freaked out, and I just. That's when she grabbed it. That's when she grabbed it, and that's when I pulled it back,
dude,
and then my
that's
hand slipped, and I
sad.
cut my finger, and then I sunk it into her head.
Did you kick her?
Yeah, I think so. In the legs.
Why'd you
Fuck. Okay. Jeez.
kick her while she's down?
Yeah. Make sure she's
I think they
down.
just mean that like
Down
as a
for good.
metaphor, not like literally. But
Was she begging for you not to do it? Was she telling you not to do it?
Yes, she was begging.
What was she saying?
Mike, don't do this. Don't do this. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. Stop, stop, stop. She was in a panic. I've never seen her like that, and I never want to see her like that again.
well, I mean, you
And then you stabbed her
really
in the
won't be able to, but
Did she say anything after that?
I don't remember. I was so enraged.
Michael says his wife called out for their daughter in her last moments.
I said, "She's not gonna hear you. You're all by yourself."
But the truth was, Adriana wasn't alone. Her daughter Valerie heard the commotion in the dining room, and in a moment of bravery, she decided to find out what was wrong.
It was almost like God
I'm
just
him.
put her there. I didn't see her coming. She was just
Put her there,
all of a
pal.
sudden.
Boom.
And
Boom.
and that scared me. I'm not
Boom.
gonna lie, that scared me. And I just
Boom.
take it out on her. I was furious. What I was furious about though.
I
don't know, Satan made you bad man,
When
though.
you stabbed her, where was the first stab?
The heart, I think.
And how many stabs after?
Maybe one.
And where was that?
Maybe the arm or the stomach. She was dead. She had a purple face.
Okay.
So far, Michael's revelations have been haunting enough, but the worst is yet to come. When the detective walks Michael back through the incident with his son, he shares an unthinkable truth.
And you said you were what? Ruthless with him, or what?
Yes.
What was the word?
No mercy.
No
No
mercy?
mercy at all with him. I went after him so hard and so
Why?
fast.
And was
What
he
What did
telling
he
you
do
to
is like
stop?
for?
He was just screaming, "Daddy, daddy, daddy." I love him so much. I don't know how that got into me.
Why would you stab him?
It's a good question.
You know, lately I've been talking so much about my son and going to work. I'm talking about how I love my son and how dear he is to my heart and how precious he is and how God has blessed me with him. And then I go and do something like that where I just lose control.
By going on about how he's lucky to have his son, Michael seems to be trying to convince the detective that he has no sane reason to kill his son, which may be part
Yeah.
of his attempt to
I
reaffirm
did that.
he was not in his right mind.
How many times again did you say stabbed him?
Did he just slice his own neck by
He got the
accident?
most.
If I told you 11, would that be too much or not that much?
11?
I'm asking.
That is way
11?
too much.
Way too
What
much.
the?
Yes.
Do you think it's possible that you stabbed him 11 times? Why do you think it's possible?
Because I wasn't in the right mind. I was
gassed up on God for real, for real.
not in the
For
right
real,
mind.
dog. You kidding me?
The
Fuck.
detective asks why Michael's son got the worst of his wrath. His response casts a chilling darkness over the room, saying, "I love Brian more."
Do you think what you did, do you think was wrong?
Yes.
Why?
Yes and no. Killing my family is wrong. But it wasn't wrong because God is in control of all things. And he says all things work together for good for those who love the Lord. And I love the Lord.
But do you know the difference between right and wrong?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so you think it's wrong killing your family, but then
Yes.
it's right. But
No, on the physical sense, it's wrong. But in the spiritual level, it's okay.
You can spiritually
Michael's
kill your family.
reflection on the
Space.
morality of killing his family indicates a certain detachment. While he understands that killing his family is wrong, he continues to verbalize his delusions. And up until this point, Michael describes the heartbreaking moments of the attack with almost no emotion. This candor suggests his actions were probably driven by mental illness, namely paranoia and delusional thinking. But despite Michael's troubled state, he's able to manage his timeline and recall most of it in vivid detail. And he's more than capable of answering questions requiring logical and analytical ability. His level of composure suggests an unsettling truth. While Michael is mentally ill, he isn't so out of his mind that he doesn't understand the tragic events of that morning. It's a common misconception that people who struggle with severe mental illness have no control over their actions. But reality isn't always so black and white. A more difficult possibility to contend with is that many individuals can be both mentally ill and in control of their choices, even Michael. If Michael is able to answer the detective's questions in his right mind, providing a detailed picture of what happened, one has to wonder if he was genuinely unable to stop himself from carrying out the violent attack in the first place.
Sit tight for me, okay? And I'll be back.
Face.
God,
insane.
You gave me peace. You gave me hope.
It's not even like a good, like, fake
Jesus.
story.
Jesus, heal them. This is not real. This is not real, Jesus. It's fake. You're testing me. You're testing me. Satan is in control. I love you, Jesus.
Did he burp? Come on. Come on, pal. You're not that guy, pal. Come on. Have your way with us. Woo!
After the attack, neighbor after neighbor came forward as witnesses to Michael and Adriana's fighting. One neighbor told police the couple's yelling reverberates throughout the neighborhood. Bruce, who babysat for the Millers, described Michael as angry and abusive, with some witnessing Michael slapping Adriana when she tried to prevent Michael from driving after drinking. Others claimed that the children weren't allowed to go places when invited. Michael has already admitted to having, and when detectives speak with his parents, they agree. According to police reports, Michael's mother said he struggled with alcohol and substance use in the past. And at one point, his father suspected Michael of stealing prescription opioids from his home. If Michael had been drinking recently, as the bottles police found in his home suggest, the alcohol may have dampened the effectiveness of his medications, exacerbated his mental health symptoms, or both.
Accident.
When the detective returns, Michael asks one lingering question about his family.
Can I ask you one question? Sure. They're okay, right?
Okay. Your son is okay.
My son is okay.
Yeah. It looks like he may be okay.
Michael shows no sign of relief at the detective's announcement.
Do you know why you left the knife in his shoulder? Mike.
I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why.
Well, you gotta remember why.
I left it there because I was scared. I was scared. And I was, what the hell happened? What do I do? What do I do? And I just left it. I just left it.
Did you try to help
Big
him
mistake.
No, not at all.
Michael rubs his head, possibly to self-soothe, and his call to 911 documented exactly this scenario in chilling detail.
Are you sure they're not breathing?
My son was, right? I got him pretty good. My son is still breathing.
He's still breathing?
Yes.
Can you go over and...
No, I can't. I cannot.
Why not?
I can't look at what I did.
Okay, well, you need to face up to the reality of this. You need to go and help him.
As police collect Michael's DNA and take photographs for evidence, they're able to see his injuries more closely, and it only serves to reinforce Michael's violence that morning.
And the other side?
Darn. That's barn.
Jump with a flash.
Is that a cut?
No. It might be a scratch. It might be a fingernail.
Okay, who would that be?
My wife.
Was she scratching at you?
I don't remember.
The question of the 63 pages of printed documents outlining mental health diagnosis remains. While it initially seemed to suggest that Michael may have been researching mental health disorders in order to try and fake crazy and receive leniency, there's likely a simple explanation. People with bipolar disorder are among the hardest to convince of their illness. Because of this, it's not uncommon for mental health professionals to encourage patients to research their condition, and it's possible this is what Michael was doing. However, it's still highly unusual for him to have 63 pages of research.
No!
It's rare that any doctor would send that much information, as they're more likely to send home 1 or 2 pages of information about a diagnosis, leaving the discovery as still very odd. While it's possible that Michael was indeed experiencing psychiatric troubles, it's equally plausible that he exaggerated symptoms to avoid the long arm of the law.
I don't know why my hands are so swollen. Those cuts.
It must be my bipolar or something. I had like 63 pages of about it or something.
Could have been that. Were you hitting him more than you said?
Despite his predicament, or perhaps in an attempt to smooth it over or ignore it, Michael makes casual conversation with the officers, one of whom was a target of Michael's outbursts while in his holding cell.
Get in there. I
dude.
had lots of things going on in my mind. I was kicking the door, being a jerk. Yeah,
He's got that
sorry.
Christian accent.
Yeah. I'm in good hands. Do you ever listen to rap or hip hop music at all? Have you heard that new song by The Dream, Walking on the Moon? You'll know when you hear it. Well, got me walking on the moon. That's nice. The Dream, he's the one singing, Shorty is a 10. A 10, yeah. Yeah, that song. Rock.
As detectives swab bloodstains from his body, Michael carries on singing and chatting, but soon enough, his smile fades. His last remarks are nothing, if not haunting.
That foot sore.
I think it was all just a bad dream. I really think it was just all a bad dream.
After surgery and an extensive stay in ICU, Michael's son eventually recovered. He sustained multiple stab wounds to his torso, chest, upper back, and wrist, and required a feeding tube during his recovery due to his injuries. Michael Miller was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempt to commit murder in the first degree. The county prosecutor argued that Michael's case demonstrated the premeditation necessary for a first-degree murder charge, and that his crimes were carried out in an especially heinous, cruel, or depraved manner, warranting aggravating circumstances and consideration for the death penalty. Adriana's sister addressed Michael directly, saying, "She would have done anything and everything for you. She never could have imagined in her worst nightmares that one day she would have to try to protect herself from you." Even so, it was at the pleas of Adriana's family that the judge took the death penalty off the table in his sentencing. In October of 2009, Michael accepted a plea deal, and by December, Michael was convicted of both counts of first-degree murder, for which he was given life sentences, as well as another 10.5 years for the attempted murder of his son. There's very little information released publicly about his son Brian and his life after surviving the attack and the loss of his mother and sister. What can be pieced together seems to indicate that he's living with an aunt, and that those looking after him have been careful to protect him. He is likely either just turned 18 or
Child predators are on the prowl in today's video.
Cool. Give me the
for
content,
sure.
bitch.
And he has made me a little uncomfortable, just, the way he carries himself, but nothing seriously occurred until yesterday.
Okay. Is he a white male?
Yes, sir.
Ain't no way.
Do you
Ain't no way.
happen
Ain't no
to know
way.
his birthday, or could you get it for me at some point? Okay.
Fuck you.
Okay. And we'll probably need his address and phone number too. And then just tell me briefly what happened yesterday.
I did right here. I took him to the room. He was getting stim therapy, and I was sitting at the computer, and I was asking him the normal subjective questions, what's your pain level, and he just kept interrupting me. He said, you need an adjustment, you know, like chiropractic adjustment. I was like, oh, no, I don't. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I said, oh, the doctors already did it today, like, I'm good. And I said, no. And he grabbed me by my arm and turned me around. He grabbed me like this and picked up my whole body and brushed it up against his. And the first thing he said is he laughed and he said, you're light. And I started crying silently, and I walked out. Summer said, what just happened? I was like, nothing. And she's like, what just happened? I started crying, and I threw up out there because I was so disgusted.
Okay.
He also said, I'm not going to touch you. And I said, no.
Face.
And he just grabbed me.
Okay.
And, you know, doctor did kick him out.
Okay. Did you guys call the cops yesterday?
I think the only thing she did was get in touch with the VA.
Okay. Is he pay, or is he here sent here by the VA?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Do you feel like it was a sexual type of groping, or was he just trying to do some chiropractic thing to you, or?
Well, I mean, I've thought about it a lot, and I think anybody would know better. And he did grab me here, and I felt everything.
Oh shit.
Okay.
So, and I couldn't even take my clothes off yesterday. I couldn't use the bathroom. I couldn't do anything.
Okay. Did he say anything that would indicate, or did? I know this is awkward. This is awkward. I'm just gonna have a seat.
Footage shows the heartbreaking moment as the victim recounts her trauma. Clearly distressed, she shares the details, emphasizing the emotional toll. And the officer asks whether she has any kind of notable injuries or anything else to report.
Did he mention anything else, or, I mean, just any details that you can give me to kind of?
Yeah, it's a lot of it was blurry, to be honest.
Imagine.
Like I said, he grabbed me there, and he laughed, and he said, you're light, and that was his first comment.
Holy shit.
And then,
Damn, I'm sorry.
I did tell Dr. And he was like, you gotta get out of here. Well, the first thing he said, Dr. opened the door, and he said, I didn't do anything.
Okay.
And I was like, wow.
Yeah. It was just you and him at that point until Dr. came in. Okay. What time was this?
About 5 p.m. yesterday.
Okay. I think what we have, just based on what I'm hearing,
How is he not going down?
Are you bruised anywhere? Have you had a chance to check?
I mean, I briefly did. I didn't really see anything.
Okay.
Like, I cried so much.
Did I get this
yesterday,
entire
didn't even
sword?
drive
That's sick as
home.
fuck.
Okay. I bet
I
your
should probably use
boyfriend
the
wasn't
axe for
happy
like
about
armor.
that.
Armor and
He's
shields.
been an angel about it.
Okay.
Right?
All right. Well,
Fuck
what you're
you.
describing is a sexual, or not a sexual
You're
battery,
dumb.
but a simple battery.
You're dumb.
Yeah. Unless we have any visible injuries, then it would become a battery, because that's the distinction.
Cool.
A battery includes some type of, visible injury.
I mean, I know you might have to give me your opinion, but like, I didn't
How?
be dramatic about it. I didn't, flip out. I just started
Yeah, you did.
I felt
Bitch.
so disgusting. I couldn't
No
even,
more.
Like, I couldn't take my clothes off when I got home. I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
So I just hope I'm doing the right thing. And I want to protect anybody else in the future,
Yes, ma'am. I would highly encourage, if he does, first of all, was he told not to come back? Okay. So if he shows up again, we can tell Dr. Page, just, tell him that he needs to leave, and then call us. We will try to get a vehicle description so we can find out what he's in. I mean, if you want to have him, if you feel comfortable having him wait in the waiting room, as long as he's not around any of the staff, that'd be better because he'll be here when we get here. We need to talk to him and bar him in person. Is what I'm saying.
The doctor did tell him to not come back.
Okay. In order for us to be able to arrest him, it has to be done in front of us. It's fine. Hopefully he won't come back just from what the doctor told him. And then, no, I don't think you did it. I think you acted very appropriately. You did what you had to do. You got out of the situation. You didn't make it, escalate or anything worse, So it's kind of strange.
Sorry.
Being
sorry.
in that situation, you
Get
talk
fucked.
about an awkward situation to be in, with somebody that you're just trying to treat and trying to help, So kudos to you. My hat's off to you. I'm glad you're okay. Just, try to, if you do need to talk to people, talk to your boyfriend, talk to your family, let them, good.
I'll talk to them about the situation and see if they think I need to go to a potential assault center, but I think I'm okay.
If you need anything else from us, just let us know. Okay?
Yes.
So you okay now?
I don't know how I did that.
Yes, and I appreciate you and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was not an accident. Okay.
Well, we appreciate you guys.
Not an accident.
You guys are
I
kind
did
of on
that
the front lines just like
on
we
purpose.
are, We deal with the same kind of stuff all the time, same kind of people. We try to help people too, It's just
This guy's sick. Holy shit.
sometimes they don't want to help. They just want to be crazy. I was dealing with a guy this morning at the hospital. He had swallowed a bag of heroin because he didn't want to go to jail.
Oh, bless your heart.
Yeah.
You deal with the crazy
Oh,
stuff.
bless your heart.
Before the suspect's interview, the officer had a few quick questions for the doctor about the psychological impact of the assault.
If you just want to call us, we'll bar him from the property.
Okay.
That way, if he comes back again, he goes to jail. We'll explain it to him and tell him, look, you come back on this property, it's trespassing, you will be arrested.
Yeah.
So just don't
Go.
come back.
Yeah.
So I know she said that she
Oh.
mentioned that you had told him.
I told him to come back here probably straight away.
Okay.
Look at that.
So
We just ginormous.
is he?
Like 6'4".
Okay.
Probably 350, 360. He's X-ray too. So it was a little.
Yeah, that's concerning.
Yeah, I was like.
Is he PTSD or something?
You'd have on that. I remember the first day it said PTSD. Some stores are not visible, and I'm like, you're doing that to somebody else.
Yeah.
Him grabbing her is like us grabbing a toddler.
Yeah, that's.
And it's just like, I didn't know what was gonna happen.
I didn't realize he was that. Yeah.
He's at big.
Yeah, she's just
at
tiny.
least 350.
Okay.
At least 350. So just well, he's big.
Yeah. Well, my hat's off to you guys. Y'all handled it perfectly. Call us. We'll bring a SWAT team if we have to. Goodness gracious.
All right,
Thank you, doctor.
Officers successfully make contact with the suspect and arrange for him to come in for an interview. During questioning, he provides his account of the events, offering a version of what he claimed had happened.
Chill, chill. Not cool.
Do you wish to talk to us now?
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Okay.
I've got nothing to hide.
You go to the...
I did.
Okay. And who was your doctor there?
I don't even remember his name.
What kind of treatment did you receive there?
Just to get my back adjusted and stuff like that. That's all it was there for.
Okay, so what kind of treatments do you usually get there?
It was just an adjustment to my neck and adjustment to my back. That was it.
Okay. So the day that I called you about, can you explain to me from the beginning what happened that day?
I don't remember the whole conversation because I've been dealing with my father-in-law who's about to have to go in for triple bypass surgery. So I don't remember a lot of the details. I've been stressed out about that situation. Only thing I will say about the whole incident was the assistant gave me permission to do so. I picked her up. I put her down. Nothing more, nothing less. There was no foul play. There was no foul language. No nothing. There was no. I don't do that. I've kept my nose clean for 32 years, and I plan on keeping it that way.
Do you remember the day at all?
Barely at all.
Wait, do you remember going into the office that day?
I remember going into the office, but after that, everything was such a blur because the doctor pretty much rushed me out of the office and cussed me out. And I was so upset. After I get upset, I just forget about everything. And like I said, I've been tied up with my father-in-law also, so that's been a big stress on me as well.
Alright, do you remember the person that you saw for treatment that day?
It was the treatment wasn't even started. It was the assistant before I get the treatment.
Okay. And what was going on? Like, what were you and the assistant doing before anything happened?
I was just sitting there conversating. I don't remember what the whole conversation was, but we were just sitting there conversating, and that was it.
Where were you in the room?
I was sitting on a bench about yay long. I remember right about yay long. I was just sitting on it talking to her. That's all I was doing.
Was this in the lobby or in the room?
In the room.
And was there anyone else in the room with you guys?
No.
Okay. And where was the assistant sitting?
At her computer, and like I said, we were just conversating, and she gave me permission to pop her back. I put her down immediately afterwards.
Can you explain to me what you mean by pop her back?
All I did, I do it because I have 2 character witnesses that would attest to this. I do not do
character
pop
witnesses?
nobody's
What the
back unless
fuck?
I have their permission. I have 2 people who can attest to that. All I did was right here, up, and then.
You say people that can corroborate your story, or just like people that saw you? What a fucking weird statement.
I don't remember because, like I said, I've been so stressed out with my father-in-law. Because I didn't forget all about this whole incident. To be honest with you, because this has not been on my worry list.
I understand.
Did the assistant say anything to you afterwards?
No, nothing. It was in the conversation at that point. I minded my own business. That's as far as it went. I minded my own business.
Alright, so what happened after you popped her back?
Okay, I lay down. I was waiting on the doctor to come in, and the next thing I know, the doctor comes in there and runs me out of the office. And after that, I ain't spoken a word to him.
What did he say to you?
He said, "You get the hell out of my office right now." And I was like, "What have I done?" And he wouldn't take the time to explain to me or nothing. He ran me out of the office.
Officers were trying to focus on the suspect's story, trying to uncover his response to the serious allegations made against him. He immediately denies everything that the victim had claimed, and even went as far as to say that she was fine with him holding her, attempting to downplay the situation entirely.
Because if the question I have, if it was that big of a deal, why didn't Athens Clark get called the same day? Why did he allow me to leave? That's the question I have right there. Why wasn't it just handled at the doctor's office that day instead of dragging it out 2 weeks?
So, in a situation like this, no determination has been made yet on what course of action takes place. That's why no warrants against you, no charges or anything. We're just trying to gather facts. But what I'm confused about is, when you're saying you don't remember, where you come in for an adjustment, how you get talking to this assistant about popping her back.
I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember because I've said so much other crap. I really don't remember. I wouldn't lie to y'all. I really don't.
Well, I understand that, and I can understand. What we've got to determine the difference is what you did. Was it meant with malice? Was it meant malice against somebody's wishes? Or was it just, bad choices? We all make bad choices in life. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I believe it.
From time to time, we all make mistakes. We don't make the best error of judgment.
No, it was no malice intended. I'll tell y'all face to face right now. It was no malice intended.
So the problem is this assistant is saying that you asked her to pop it back numerous times, and she kept telling you, "No, I'm good, thank you," and you were you were something to the nature of, "Look, I'm really good. I do this all the time. I pop back. Let me just show you." And that you picked her up and popped her back. Now, so the thing is, if you did that, you didn't mean malice, and you didn't want to, you misunderstood, misread the situation. That can be.
I had permit because she said okay to it. I picked her up, and like I said, my hands were here. I didn't do nothing right here, nothing. All I did was pick her up. I sit her down. Because the question I have is, can I use you for an example, ma'am?
No, don't touch her, bro.
As a female, if somebody picks you up that you don't want to pick up, would you fight? I mean, you would punch, kick, and I know all the females I know in my life.
Why?
They would punch, kick me, and do something to get me off of them. There was no
Females that you know in your life already, dog? Are you
whatsoever.
kidding me?
Well, everybody, I've been doing this for 21 years, almost 22 years in law enforcement. Every person acts different on how they handle situations. So it's hard to say. That's like, I heard a lot of new officers say, Well, she didn't have a wound. How could she be punched? I've seen a lot of people get punched and not show any sign of that, you know. So my point, I know they're not the same. My point is that everybody reacts to everything differently.
I respect that.
So this young lady is saying that you asked her numerous times to pop her back and she told you no. So
the only time I remember asking her was one time. That was it. That was the only time I ever remember even saying anything about it. If anything, that's the only thing I remember.
If anything.
She said, I'm really trying. My thing is to remember this, because I wish I would have recorded all this crap, because I don't want this situation. I believe the conversation started. Excuse me if it's not the right terms. I believe I was saying something about I wanted to go to school for that, something along those lines. And Jesus, you know,
Why?
as you know, I fast forward because that was the first time I said it. I'm trying to remember here. Thank God, my brain's not working. After the first time, I said, if anytime you want me to, and I believe it's on those lines, and she said, okay, you may. And at that point, I picked her up, I set her down, put her down. That was the end of the story right there.
okay, so let me explain something to you in the sense of, in this job, being a detective, investigating crimes, a lot of times we know some parts of the situation. You know, we're just trying to connect the dots in other situations. So what I'm doing now is I'm locking you into statements, okay? So, and I'm going to be fair with you because that's the only way I know to work with it, okay? So what I've got you saying right now is that she never told you no, and that she gave you permission.
Yes.
The man was showing no signs of backing down from his denial, so the officer has to switch tactics, hoping to push him towards a confession. And as you may have guessed, the officer brings out the strategic question of what if I told you there's a recording of the room?
So, would it surprise you? Or what would you say that if I said if there was possibly a video or audio recording of that room when this took place? Because here, let me remind you, there's no allegation that you touched her inappropriately. And you two, correct me if I'm wrong, Officer Odom, but you didn't touch her breast, you didn't touch her butt with your hands, you know, anything of that nature. It's that you picked her up.
He's a gentleman.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to ask you again to think about. If there was an audio or video recording of that room when this took place, you have just now told me that she gave you permission and that she never told you no. So I'm going to ask you to think real hard about those answers. If there is an audio or video recording.
If there is, I will go out and sit down and watch it.
Well, that's not what we do right here. What I'm asking you now is I'm getting your side of the story to see how honest you're going to be.
I'm being straight up honest with you, sir. If there was anything across the board, I will not whatsoever, because that's a detriment of my character. I would not pick up just any random person anywhere in the world without them giving me 100% permission. I'm not that way. Because I have two females I could call right now that will testify to my character.
That would let me pick them up. I have two females on my phone. I would say, yeah.
In April.
So I'm 45.
This guy
we've been around a
can
long
pick me
time.
up anytime he wants.
And
I give him indefinite
by no
permission.
means am I an angel. I'm sure you're not either. I'm not.
Why are you guys so fucking gay with this shit? Stop.
Everybody has good character after the fact. Okay? Everybody has good character when they can pull in character witnesses. That's because it's hindsight is 20/20. So that's what I'm saying to this is about what we've got to determine what your motives were, and what we're judging now is your character and your honest ability. Okay?
That's fine.
Because in the moment, 'cause I've been there. I've been there where I've misread girls back in the day when I used to go to bar all the
Okay,
time.
thank God.
You know,
Playing it safe.
sometimes you think a woman wants something, and by no means am I saying this is sexual assault.
Yeah.
But the problem I have is if this young lady, according to her statement, she told you repeatedly, no thank you. No, not interested. No thank you. Maybe not harshly because, you know, you are a client of theirs, but, you know, she's trying to be nice. Like, no thank you, I'm not interested. And you misread the situation.
Give me my blade,
You pick her
bitch.
up just to show, hey, I'm going to pop you back. This because I can show you, I don't mean nothing by it, I'm a good guy. But if we're going to stick to the story of, she told me, and I didn't do nothing wrong.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to stick with.
Maybe this young lady is good with an apology if you're honest. But I don't feel you're being 100% honest right now. I think you're trying to cover your tail with what you're doing.
No, sir, I wouldn't lie to you. I've never lied a day in my life. I've never been in one
Never.
of these buildings.
Except now.
I've never been one.
Okay, fair enough. You've never been in the building, but I've never lied a day in your life.
Okay, yeah, to my parents maybe, but I'm not gonna lie in a situation like this because you have to cover a lie with another lie. She would give me permission. I wouldn't look you straight in the eyes, a man to man, say she didn't give me permission. She gave me permission. I picked her up and I put her straight down.
Why would this young lady make this story up?
I don't know.
Money?
I don't know what the deal
Clout?
was. I really don't.
She thinks I'm hot?
If there was something that I missed, I don't know. But I swear to you, she gave me permission. Well, I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie because I'm not jeopardizing this.
Dude, stop.
I'm not jeopardizing my job. I'm not jeopardizing nothing for something like this.
What were you
Good.
What were you wearing that day when you came up?
I don't
What
care.
was I
Jeans and a
wearing?
T-shirt.
What the
Because I
fuck?
took this hoodie off and set it in a chair.
Did you find this young lady attractive?
No, not my
Yeah.
type. None whatsoever.
Why else would I pick her up?
My wife right here. That right there is my type. That's my wife. Not my type, too much trouble. I don't want that crap. I don't need it.
Any further questions?
I don't want that ugly
Do you have any
bitch.
questions?
Well,
She stinks.
if y'all don't mind me allowing you, let me ask this question. In the interest of fairness, why did this take 2 weeks? I mean, couldn't it have been handled the same day at the doctor's office? That's the question I have.
Well, so the allegations that are being made is this young lady said that you asked her numerous times to pop her back. She claims that she told you no numerous times. And then all of a sudden you picked her up from behind
We're close.
and were attempting to pop her back, and she felt your poking into her buttocks.
You're already fucked up,
So
boy.
she cannot swear if you were erect or not, but that's what she thinks. So the thing is, allegedly she told the doctor, and I assume that's why the doctor ran you out, she felt violated, and whether that's the situation or not, that's the situation she saw occur. So she immediately reported to the doctor saying that. Do you remember her running out of the room?
No, she walked out of the room because she threw a blanket. She laid I was getting some kind of electrical therapy done on my back. She laid a hot blanket on me, and then she walked out of the room.
So, in reference to reporting, or a lot of times victims take a lot of process and think about what they want to do. I don't know if I haven't talked to this young lady directly. Officer Odom can maybe fill you in better on that.
Well, I mean, trust me, that was not my type. 'Cause I'm not into.
Do you have any children?
I have 4. I got a.
No
soon to be-
particular daughter.
I got 2.
Oh,
I got one 6 and 7.
so they're not of age yet.
No.
But let's say they're 20 years old. They're working in a chiropractor's office. And let's go with her story. Okay? Let's go with her story that a man's asking her to pop her back. She tells him no, and he picked her up against the wheel, and she feels his up against her buttocks. How's that going to make you feel as a father when you hear that story?
I'll be going there and asking questions because you can't just go out there and do
I'm
it.
just saying, how would that make you feel?
I would be wanting to know answers.
Okay? I would think as a father, because I have a 17-year-old daughter, at first glance, I'd be like, I'm about to go jack somebody up, let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean.
Number 2, I get what you're saying, but let's get the story, but my point is this, is ultimately it's up to this
Walk
young
into
lady
it,
what
bitch.
happened in this case, whether charges are
Good
brought,
one.
and depending on what we find. But I would think, with my 17-year-old daughter, that one thing with victims of doing this for almost 22 years, and I agree, this is what I did. I worked 6 crimes, I worked domestic violence, okay? You didn't, girl, all right? Let's not even go into whether you meant this to be sexual or not. That's not my point. My point is, you didn't hold this girl down, you didn't hold her down and feel on her. My point is, if this was a mistake, you know, and ultimately it's up to this young lady, I think it's going to go a lot further if you're like, you know what, and this is just 2 actions I see here.
The suspect still remains unwilling to accept responsibility for his actions and continues to offer every possible excuse to shift the blame away from himself while refusing to acknowledge what had happened. The officer once again attempts to explain the gravity of the situation, hoping to break through the suspect's defense.
I see this as 2 possible things. One, you're a dude that made a bad choice. You misread the room, you thought she wanted you to pop her back, she didn't, but you made a dumb mistake. Mistakes happen.
Fair enough.
You shouldn't have picked her up. Or number 2, you're a dude that likes to go to places and do weird to girls.
No, I've never.
That's what I'm saying. There's 2 scenarios.
I get you know that, but I've never
So
been
the decision you have to determine is which of those are closer to you.
closer to me. Is just I made them. If I made a dumb mistake, I'll admit I made a dumb mistake because I'm not that kind of person. I stay at home. I don't go out party. I'm not that way.
I get it. And my reading of you, and I hope you don't take this as wrong. You know, I see your shirt, you know, with the flag on it, patriotic, country boy, loves life, you know, but there's something to be said if what I want you to do is search your soul, okay? I want you to look back to that day. I want you to think about the character of the man you're telling me you are, okay?
What?
And I want you to look at this young lady and see, because here's the thing. It's one thing if she didn't tell you, if she never said okay, but you just misread the room and you did it. You know, you look at her and you go, you know what, I don't know her name, let's call her Angela. And I don't know if that's right or not. If she was sitting here, let's be honest, you made a bad choice, I apologize. Shouldn't have picked you up. You did never give me permission. Or she did. You can only tell that. Okay? Because I wasn't there. I'll show them one.
Well, I mean, if she was sitting here right now, I'll say, look, for whatever, for your intents and purposes, I'm sorry. I should have never even picked you up in the first place. Because normally I wouldn't. I've done it for people before, you know.
But would you agree that's
Okay,
not the
okay,
appropriate
okay.
place to do it?
Lock in, lock in, lock in,
I've done
lock
it
in,
for my
lock in,
boss
lock in.
at work.
Lock in, boys,
Yeah, I
lock in,
know, but
boys,
you
lock
work
in,
with the
boys.
boss. You're with them every day. How long you worked at your job?
I've been there a year. My boss ain't been there but a couple months.
You didn't do it day one with your boss, though, did you?
Oh!
No, it was about week 2. She agreed to it, and she let me. And I said, no, the same thing I would
Fucking
have done for
bitch,
this lady.
kill
How
yourself.
many times you been in this doctor's office?
Multiple
You
times.
done?
How many times?
I started going back to December. I don't remember the exact date.
Okay.
You done?
How many times have you had contact with this young lady?
We've spoken very briefly, but that was it. Very, very briefly. I don't usually conversate.
So, now look in our situation. I want you to look at, you are now Detective Cook or you're Officer Oak.
Yep.
It doesn't matter who you pick to be. You've got a young lady that says, she told you no numerous times. You picked her up.
Fuck
The way
you,
she
fuck you,
describes
fuck
it is-
you.
And I get what she's saying. She sees it as bouncing on your genital area. That's going to happen if you're trying to truly pop her back. You know, I get what.
Yeah.
I get that. I know exactly what you're talking about. But you got this young lady that feels violated. When we talked to you, you claimed, nope, she gave me permission. But also, I don't really remember how we got there. I don't remember the story, and I blacked out. I don't remember the day.
No!
With this possible video and recording, I'm going to ask you about it. If there is one,
If there is one,
then
what's
what
up?
I'm saying to you is, and what we know, what would you do
Nope,
if you're sitting on
nope, nope.
I'll just be trying to get to the bottom of it because to me, this is just a waste of my
You're
time.
not helping us get to the bottom of it.
I don't know what to
No.
tell you. I'm being completely honest because I've been dealing with other stuff. I put that to the back burner. I have not. thought
I'm
no more about
busy.
it.
I get that.
Fucker.
You know, this officer called you on Friday. I've never been in this situation, but I can sympathize and think, I'm going to pull up every fact of that day and go over it 100 times over this weekend.
And also, I was dealing with my father-in-law this weekend too.
Fair enough.
I was busy with that. But the only thing I can say is what I said a while ago, and I stick by my story. I would never intentionally do that to somebody. I'm not jeopardizing my marriage, my job, anything else.
Well, I don't think that would jeopardize your marriage. It's not to that level. But if this young lady was sitting right here in that chair, you would look at her with the character man you tell me you are and say,
I would tell her she's
"You know what? You
lying.
told me I had permission." That's the slave thing.
Yes. And then I said, and I would tell her, I'm sorry. I would never ever offer it again to anybody.
Right, but I'm focusing on you're going to look her in the face. If she
Yes, I would.
I'm sorry, you're lying,
gave me
bitch.
permission. What are you going to say if she looks at
Whoa.
you tearfully and says, "I told you 5 times no"?
Then if that's the case, I'm saying I'm sorry.
Woo.
100% across the board. There must have been a misunderstanding. I am sorry. As a detriment of my character, I am sorry. Right now.
Okay, so I'm asking you now, which one happened? Did you misunderstand, or did you have permission?
He's
I have
autistic,
permission, but
bitch.
if I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna throw a butt on there. But if there was any kind of misunderstanding, I do 100% as a man apologize right now in front of goddamn everybody.
Meow.
If there was any kind of misunderstanding whatsoever, I will say it.
The suspect continues to try and frame the situation as a misunderstanding and twists every detail in hopes of deflecting the blame while avoiding accountability. If he thought he could outsmart the system with his games, he had underestimated the skills of law enforcement. Officers were well aware of these tactics and prepared for every move, ready to counter with their own strategy to get to the truth. The suspect may have been clever, but law enforcement was always one step ahead.
Are they?
Where'd you go to school at? Mass County?
No, I'm not from around here.
So,
Yeah, and I'm being truthful right now.
So ultimately, this young lady, Officer Odom, have to make the decision of where this case goes. And what that means is, I'm being honest with whether you get charged with, it's probably simple battery or sexual battery, depending on the charge, is us sitting here listening to you. We're recording it. I'm sure you can see that and hear it.
Oh my god. Okay, whatever. Kill yourself.
Numerous times you
Fucking
agree,
loser.
if you have permission.
Loser, loser, loser,
So
loser.
if we watch
Okay.
this video, if
I don't think anybody's watching anyways, so it's chill. But if you are, or if you're visiting the VOD later, thanks for watching.